This episode contains sensitive content. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Culture Podcast, where we uncover the hidden mechanics of high control groups, their tactics, and their impact. And we speak with the survivors who broke free. My name is Derek, and I'm your host.
My name is Trinity, and I'm also your host. On this podcast, we explore cult life as real people who have lived through the life-changing process of leaving a high control group.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the Culture Podcast. I'm, of course, Derek, and with me, as always, well, I would say almost always, my co-host, Trent. Hey, Trent.
Hello.
And we're really excited to have a guest on who I'd say has a lot of creative endeavors. We're going to talk about a few of those. One of them, a book that has come out called Novice Enthusiasm. Welcome to the podcast, Sean Miller.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. This is really fun and exciting. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm super happy that we connected, and I think, our listeners, our viewers, I think that they're really going to resonate with you and your lived experience and our conversation. One of the things I really enjoy about talking with people that have come out of high control groups is to kind of see where they land post putting on the new personality. So
you gotta like, it had to tell me there was going to be some trigger warnings.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Well, it's actually in the recording, our little intro, so you don't get it live. But it's like, what did the group that we grew up in hinder from us kind of towards our natural individuation? And then, where they land. And it's really cool to see from what I've just known of you, just from kind of diving into a few things. Like, you're in a really, really great creative place that growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, we weren't authored to have.
Yeah. Thank you for putting it that way. That's exactly right. There was something you said that I just kind of want to, call out. You said that you talk to people and focus on, how the cult took opportunities away from us. But I think the reason I decided to do this podcast with you guys is because you also focus on the where did they land.
Yeah.
And that is really important to me. And that was something that I oftentimes felt was missing from the ex-Jehovah's Witness community. Mm-hmm. The where are they now? What are they doing?
Yeah.
And it focused on, look how bad this was. Look how much I got hurt. Look how much I lost. Look how much was stolen. And which is true. Is true. And you absolutely need those voices and those channels, right? Because that's its own niche thing of the waking up process.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to commend you guys. It was the thing that made me feel calm about doing another ex-Jehovah's Witness podcast, because you never know if somebody's like really bitter or they just want to be angry and talk a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And
well, I
love it.
I also think it's really informative for a listener, because I try to inhabit a mindset of like, I don't know where that person's at on their journey out of the cult. Mm-hmm. Pick whatever cult they're at. This could be they're still in. This could be they've been out for a month, a year. Mm-hmm. And it's also really great to have a conversation with someone who's been out for many years, mm-hmm. because they're just innately going to be in a different place. Mm-hmm. And so that place could still be, as we talked about beforehand, in an angry place, bitter place, a place where they don't have answers.
I think what we landed on is it's the telling of stories, mm-hmm. and capturing that moment in time for everyone, mm-hmm. that's helpful. Mm-hmm. It's not even necessary. That's why we don't have such strong opinions and why we don't rant and rave about,
Yeah, I really appreciate that about this podcast. So I know I kind of derailed your question there.
No. I mean, that's a really cool thing as well. It's intentionally conversational also. So, hopefully listeners and viewers on Patreon know what to expect, that they're just like, they're constantly interrupting each other, but this is real talk. This is real conversations, and I just want it to be that way. So, but yeah, so little bit about you. I'd love to know a little bit about who you are now, like, and kind of who you are. And we've kind of touched on the creative aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And can you also connect you and Derek and how you got on the pod?
Oh, of course. Yeah, for sure. So to answer the first part way back, yes, I was a Jehovah's Witness. I was born in. My parents were witnesses before I was born, so I was literally born in, not knowing anything else. And then, if you want to know the details of my career as a witness, I'm happy to get into that with you. But
We'll
yeah,
get your
as of right,
credentials soon.
please, yeah, that's how you know. So, yeah, right now I'm in the creative industry. I got my start in comic books, and I did that for a few years. Probably like, when all the kids were still small, like I was pretty focused on just doing comics and making a living doing that. And then kind of, took a little bit of a detour into graphic design, working in corporate environment because, you gotta pay the bills. Comics don't really pay the bills. And it's been a really interesting journey, like artistically, kind of going from industry to industry, just following what I sometimes think would have been the natural path of my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I had my 20s, if I actually had like a normal, young adulthood
Like
and
a discovery phase at the proper time. Yeah.
exactly. A discovery phase would have been great. And I had moments and flashes of that as a witness. I was always creative and was always drawn to like music and stuff like that. But it was never really framed as anything that could be a viable career, primarily because it was like a self-aggrandizing practice.
Yeah.
It was like, well, art is a very selfish thing. Like it's very beautiful, but it's also very selfish because it requires so much of your time to get good at it. So this would
Selfish in the true sense of the word, that you have to be self-focused, inwardly focused, and
correct,
self-promote. Promote
correct.
yourself as worthy of, paying X amount for your art. I went through this as an artist and witness myself, and it is
Yeah,
challenging to
yeah.
balance.
Thank you. I would love to talk to you and drill down on that in a moment. But thanks for saying that because that was something that I didn't expect would happen in a creative career. It's not the talent or the skills, it's the mindset of the person thinking it like, can I even do this? Am I allowed to even want this? Am I
Yeah.
allowed to even try this? And
Mm-hmm.
that, I know that's got to sound very strange to people that have not grown up in a high control environment, but when you really live it and you really believe it, you believe that you really don't deserve even kindness.
Yeah.
It was called undeserved kindness.
Yeah. Yep.
So that sort of thing, if you really believe that about yourself, okay, go try to take a passion project and throw it out into the creative industry. See what happens.
Yep.
Bro, you're going to get fucked up.
Cooked, and not in the good way.
Yeah, but if you're I think what happened for me is I did get cooked in a sense, but that feeling in itself was just so new that I was like, that doesn't feel good, but I kind of like it,
Yeah.
because everything else was just so rigid and performative and just so like dialed in and turned up really loud, especially if you were a witness in the 90s
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
like mid 2000s. That was a different animal than what they've got now.
Yeah, I think if
100%.
there was a normal upbringing, you had quote unquote normal parents, and I don't know if your parents are normal. I'm sure we'll dive into that, but I assume, so I don't want to say like they're not normal, but they're not training us and equipping us in a way other parents would, where they're like, try soccer practice, go play
Yeah,
in band at school. I
yeah.
mean, I have memories where like, hey, I want to try band, and they're like, no
Mm-hmm.
extracurricular activities after school, no time
Mm-hmm.
spent. And I just feel like if you had that type of environment, you would have been given that early on to fail, and for them to go like, oh, it's just part of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in my opinion, we weren't given that. We were just given like, no, you're going to learn how to preach and teach. And we got meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Sundays, and we go to service, and you just stay in that routine.
Man,
being an artist as a witness is killer, dude.
Killer.
Yeah,
it feels like you're suffocating.
Yeah, constantly.
In your own unique way. Not to say that we have a special sort of like extra sensory way of experiencing the witness bullshit. It's just that particular type of like wanting to express yourself. So here's one that really messed me up it didn't mess me up as much as it made me angry, because it just felt so short-sighted. A lot of the pushback I got was, oh, there's a lot of homosexuals in the art industry.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Isn't that crazy? I remember shit like that too.
What? Seriously? I remember having that conversation with my dad at the dinner table, because, my dad was a very, very well-respected elder with lots and lots of responsibility, like on they call it a region now, but a district. So he like took care of a district in Northern California and Central California. And growing up in that environment with somebody with that level of authority and like the ability to like move people physically and mentally and emotionally, it's pretty awesome. But it's also, there's a lot of pressure that comes with it. So to hear something like that from my dad, I remember carried a lot of weight, but also I struggled with it, thinking like, that also sounds really dumb.
Yeah.
We talk about this on pod a lot, these little moments in our youth or in our past before we woke up of disconcordance, where we realize like, wait a second, this is like, I like almost like your real self coming out,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like rejecting the witness ideology for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you also have a parent, they're in a position of authority, and then also a father who's an elder who has more position of authority. And so there's a respect level there. And then you hear them say something, you're like, I'm just a child, or I'm young, and that kind of doesn't make sense, but okay, this is the only framework I have.
Yeah, I mean, there was ways for them to always justify what it was that they were saying. There was some principle, right? That was the thing that really kind of always shut things down, because I would look for a hard and fast rule. I'm like, Dad, where does it say this?
Mm-hmm.
And he'd always get me with well, it's the principle of what's being said.
It's like, that's the cop-out,
It is a cop-out, yeah.
And then you find yourself with one of your children accidentally saying that same thing. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just copied my father.
Yeah. But, I think I lost the thread just a little bit, but...
Well, I know creativity, like, I don't know what we just released an episode with some friends from Griswold House. And if you're watching or listening and you haven't heard that yet, I definitely recommend to go back and listen to that one, because it was two creatives that have now started a company, which I think is amazing. And they regaled how they were part of a production for the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. And they were performing for the delegates for an international convention at like a private show.
Ooh.
Yeah. And, it was so hush hush, but they talked about that experience. And I was fortunate enough to see it. And I just remember I was already waking up. I remember feeling so sad, because I'm like, they don't get to do this ever again.
Uh-huh.
They're talented, and there was many, many people there, musicians, singers, dancers.
Well, they might if they leave.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, yeah, you if you stay in, this is it. But if you get a chance to go and spread your wings, you're going to see how great it can be.
Yeah, dude, you're absolutely right. Like when you do a drama or something, because my dad he did the production for a drama one time, and I was in it, and there was like just a ton of work. Yeah, there was. You were in a
drama.
Dang, I was in a drama too.
Were you really?
Drama buddies, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I played a young King Josiah.
Oh I played like one of Isaac's sons, like
I was
just
the
a
lead,
random
man.
son that did shit in the Bible. Like he didn't lead a tribe into battle or anything. He's just
you had a
some
chance
dude.
to say that you played a tree, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
But
it's unfortunate, but you know, you got out and now you can, you know, fully flex that muscle.
yeah.
So I want to talk about that, but I do want to go back just a little bit and talk about, you know, your story. So you know a little bit now. You sprinkled in your father was an elder. What was your upbringing like? Like, can you kind of touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. You know, my parents were actually, I think as far as Jehovah's Witnesses go, pretty pretty balanced, I think, as far as like allowing my brother and I to kind of experience little bits of the world or like little bits of their past to see when they were worldly. So it was enough to kind of like be honest about it, which I appreciate, but also framed in a way that still left you feeling kind of scared. Like if we chose this way of life because it is actually as bad as they say it is on the other side. And we know. And as I've gotten older and you know I'm a father now, it's really interesting like reliving and reframing some of those pivotal conversations that I remember with my parents and thinking like, oh, they like they had it all figured out, but they also didn't. Like they knew that they committed to this and they were gonna make it work and it was gonna be the best possible version by the book. And and you know what? I respect them because they walk the walk and they talk the talk. And I think if you make a dedication like that, you know, if you hold on to it, even if I disagree with it, like I still find a way to respect that.
That is
You
so
know,
damn healthy, man. I love that for you.
you know what? It took a long time to get there. And I will be honest, like when we first started talking, I was like, I don't think I want to do another one of these podcasts unless I know exactly where I stand. And that was an impetus for me to finish the book because it was in a state of like almost there for so long
Oh,
that
I
I
love
was
it.
like,
The catalyst.
this feels like the perfect time to just wrap this shit up, take ownership of it, say this is how it affected me and this is how I used it to actually improve my situation.
Yeah.
That is really the only reason I'm here.
Well, that's really interesting. You know, I often talk about on the pod how I kind of land in like a really logic based system of how the world operates and the scientific method. But I always go back to like, there's so much weird shit out there where the universe speaks to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like moments like this where it's like you were at the final stretch and in that moment we connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that connection led to the next phase for both you and I.
Mm-hmm.
And there's weird stuff like that where it's like, I have to believe sometimes that weird shit happens.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, I felt like my personal responsibility and accountability to coming onto your show, like I look at your show as an artistic practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes time and energy and a lot of thought and a lot of care that people don't understand that's running in the background every single time you guys sit down and start talking into a mic.
Yeah.
Right? Every time. It's a creative practice. So me and the type of work that I do, I'm not going to come disrespect your creative practice by not having a clear understanding of where I'm at because it would have just devolved into look how goofy and look how shitty this religion is that we used to belong to.
Yeah.
Right.
That doesn't do anybody any good.
No.
Not at the stage that we are at. And I felt like I understood your audience and what you were doing. And I vibe with it a lot. Like it resonates with me a lot. And it was just, you know, to your credit, like, all right, man, like, am I going to finish this book or not?
I think it's so great. And I think when people do finally get their hands on it, I told you before we started recording, it's really great. I think
Thank you.
in my opinion, it's a great sprinkle of lived experience and your own dialogue, obviously your own thoughts, and your story, but there's a message. It's very intentional about what your lived experience can be for others. So I guess I do want to dive in that. I don't want to speak for you.
No, please.
Back in 2018, where were you at? Oh, do we touch on everything you wanted about early life? Because we moved on.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, I'll throw in a little bit more that I think would be beneficial. Yeah. So I was a auxiliary pioneer, got baptized.
What age?
I think I was like 16. And honestly,
late bloomer.
Oh, I know, right? my dad was getting real antsy about it. It was like, listen, I can't boss people around if my kid's not baptized yet. Yeah. So then I was a regular pioneer, ministerial servant, climbing the ladder, like eventually would have been an elder, just that sort of trajectory. I was actually really good in the field ministry. I thought Pioneer School was a complete waste of time. I hated Pioneer School. It was unbelievably boring. And I felt like, if you just show up at somebody's door and you know that they don't really want you to be there, you gotta like play it different. Like you gotta be cool. You gotta be relaxed. You gotta be chill. So I kind of just developed my own style of, informal witnessing. And I used the same presentation and the same scripture for like 12 years.
Wow. Do you still know it? Can you tell me what it is? I'm dying to know.
Sure, man. You want to hear something funny, dude? So I kept, the only book that I kept was my old Bible.
Okay, yeah, the OG Bible that you had.
The old before it went silver. So there's a spot in my Bible that's discolored from me touching that spot, reading the scripture at a door.
Wow.
So much. And my girlfriend she's not a witness or ever has been or anything like that. So she was like, what was it like? Can you show me? So I got my Bible out and I did my presentation for her. Before I could finish, she was like, okay, all right, got it.
I don't ever want to hear that ever again. Yeah. I don't know who that person is.
It's basically, the scripture is Psalms 83:18. Well, maybe not the one where Jehovah's name is. It's the one about the Bible being a light to your roadway.
Oh, okay.
To your foot. Psalms 183:18. I think that's.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So essentially, the presentation was, hey, can I read you the scripture? Probably take about 30 seconds, and then quickly go into, in my experience in my life, the Bible has been a light to my roadway. It's given me a way to go, but it's been a light to my path, which is right immediately in front of me, right? So, it helps me make decisions I'm faced with now and for the future, and I really like it. So it was like, here's how it worked for me. If it works for you, cool. I only wanted like 40 seconds of your time, and then I would leave the book, the Bible Teach, What Does the Bible Really Teach book. So you're supposed to give them a tract or something, right? I just go straight to book.
That is so funny, dude. You're a real one, because I actually used to do the same thing, dude. I used to start with Bible study, and it worked.
It worked.
I would pass out the What Does the Bible Really Teach book, and I would basically choose a chapter, like something I felt was compelling.
Oh yeah.
And find some way to like I would literally I would do everything, man. I tried everything.
Would you do this one? Would you do this trick? Would you do this trick when you would like open to the chapter and read a paragraph? Like, would you do a paragraph live at the door and then have them answer the question? And if they did it, you just go, boom, you just had a Bible study. How long did that take?
100%.
Great. See you next week.
100%. But I would really sneak it in because I wouldn't read the paragraph. I would summarize the paragraph and then like summarize the answer to the question for them, and then just be like, hey, it's that easy, man.
Ooh, you guys clearly had more Holy Spirit than me. That's
clearly. No. I like Trent's has a more subtle way of brainwashing the person.
Exactly.
Very lovingly bringing them in, and I come in and just bop them on the nose and go, all right, see ya. I'll be right back.
What
That's
a trip,
amazing.
man. Did you get enjoyment out of the field service? It sounds like you did.
Yeah, honestly, dude, I
did.
really did, because I always had a problem with there being a lack of like a communal outreach program.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought, like other churches did that right, where it's like you're actually helping people with food, clothes, shelter, whatever.
Yeah.
So, to my parents' credit, they taught me how to be generous with your resources and your time and your money. And my parents were very classy, still are, but very, very classy people, a high standard for like, nothing showy, but quality,
No showy display of one's means.
No, they knew how to do it in other subtle ways that was very like tasteful, right? They had
Nice.
taste. So sometimes in Stockton, where I grew up, our congregation was assigned to like some really bad parts of this town, like really bad. And my mom would take us, my brother and I mean, we looked like little 1950s Leave It to Beaver
Yeah,
in like the fucking ghetto.
yeah.
And I think that that's really what our only protection was, is that we were just so out of place that nobody wanted to fuck with us.
Yeah.
It's like, these guys are clearly out of their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't talk to them.
Yeah.
And when we would talk to them, sometimes we would go buy groceries for people.
Wow.
Sometimes my mom would take her Bible study shopping and buy them a dress and like pantyhose and get their hair done. And like, I really, really liked that part of it. So
that's really generous.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if you're going to say like, we're the only religion that does what Jesus did correctly.
Right.
Well, yeah.
So you guys really believed, and you were after that Christ-like personality.
Yeah. Like there's levels to belief, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, we talk about that all the time.
It's funny, like I found out very quickly, and I think this might have had something to do with my waking up process, but as a small kid, I was around like really high level decision making that was happening on like an organizational level for the district and congregation. My dad, I learned a lot from him just by observation. And a person's like rank within the religion does not necessarily correspond with what they believe.
Yeah.
And when I saw that difference,
the dissonance,
it was dissonance. It was like, okay, I know who my real brothers are. This guy's a phony. This person's rubbing me wrong. And then when I left, it still was working, where I was like, okay, now I'm in a new community. That's the ex-JW community. And that shit still exists, even in the ex, it's a different climb, but the same mindset still exists, and you got to be very careful.
Sounds like you've always had pretty high intuition.
Yeah.
I think so. And I think that's one of the benefits of growing up with my parents being the types of witnesses they were. It put me in contact with so many different people from all across the spectrum, like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, all of it. And when you get that sort of like ground level exposure as a child, that's an invaluable education.
Yeah,
100%. That's street smart stuff for witness kids.
So you're in it. You're a ministerial servant. Parents are great.
Get to the finish line, I promise.
Yeah. So the parents are great, for you.
Yeah.
And were you married at this time? Ministerial servant, married?
So at that time, I was in my 20s and started getting reproved, which led to an eventual disfellowshipping because, a guy who's never had sex before, who is interested in girls.
Yeah.
And at the time I was a waiter at a very popular restaurant, and, the opportunity to just go out and party and stuff was so high. And it, I was a very curious person. I'll just say
I
that.
bet you had some fun though, despite getting reproved. Or do you still feel guilty about it today? It's either one or the other.
Excellent question. I carried that guilt with me even outside of the organization.
Yeah.
Which is so weird. And that's how deep that brainwashing goes.
Another one of the things that Trent and I often talk about is how multiple emotions, feelings, thoughts can exist all at once. Mm-hmm. So while you don't believe and you're out, you still carry stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's not easy to immediately just rewrite your entire brain and reconstruct all, very quickly. It's mixed, it's muddy up in our brains. Mm-hmm. And so I can totally relate to that. But not to cut you off, where do you feel you land with that one?
So now I've gotten to the place where I forgive myself, where it's like you did absolutely nothing wrong. That was just normal person behavior. You did nothing wrong. Mm-hmm. And nobody got hurt. So it's absurd. So, but that actually got me disfellowshipped because there was, I really wanted a relationship. I wanted to experience like love and falling in love and being an artist. I was drawn to music, and all the music I listened to was like, very, very romantic in the sense that it was about pining for somebody, or, it's like indie rock and loud, aggressive noise rock, but it's all about love.
Can you name some bands from your youth?
Yeah, actually, so I listened to a lot of Ryan Adams. I don't want to say him just because it turned out he was kind of a creeper.
Okay.
But
I think I saw Ryan Adams live. Yeah,
I did too. Yeah, it was an excellent show. But his album Love Is Hell, really good. I mean, really, really awesome. And then I'm a big Lenny Kravitz fan, particularly like the first 4 albums.
Yeah, that's some good shit.
Everything analog, everything sound, like you can hear the room he's in. You can hear him like apologizing to Lisa Bonet. You can hear that it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like that shit sounds so good to me. And yeah, I was experiencing those feelings secondhand through the art that I was consuming.
Totally get it.
And I wanted to experience it for myself. And yeah, I mean, that got me in trouble because I fell in love with someone who ended up becoming my wife, and we were married for almost 12 years.
Wow, okay.
At the time before all the marriage, and did you turn yourself in?
Yeah, I turned myself in every time.
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah, because I actually got caught. The first time I got a private reproof was my dad caught me looking at porn. This is actually a very funny story. And this is like one of the most embarrassing stories I have. So I think telling it on your show will help me to just kind of like put it to rest.
That's big, man.
Yeah. Catharsis.
Yeah. So at like, I want to say I was like 13, 14, somewhere around there. My parents were like remodeling their house, like from top to bottom. So we were kind of like camping inside the frame of our home. And my mom was also pioneering. My dad was pioneering. So I was left home a lot by myself. I was also homeschooled through this Jehovah's Witness homeschool program. Wow. So, the level of education I was receiving was iffy at best.
Yeah.
So I was experiencing the world through the internet, and that was still pretty early internet days. And to make a long story short, I jammed the family printer with a bit of porn that I was trying to print out for myself that I could hide. And my parents came home, and I just unplugged everything, right? Not knowing that it was still going to be in the queue when my dad later went to go print out his public talk for that Sunday. So
the irony there, wow.
I know. So what ended up happening is my dad came down on me pretty hard about that. It was a first offense. And my dad just went straight to the elders.
Wow.
Whoa, so, he turned you in.
Mm-hmm. So he told the elders, and I was like, again, 13, 14, your developmental shit is just haywire right now. And I had to sit between my mom and my dad in a like I don't know if it was a judicial committee because I don't know if there was 3 guys, but I was reproved while I'm sitting between them, and my mom is sobbing. My dad is just like
That is
heavy.
so traumatic, dude.
Dude, it fucked up my sexuality for a
Yeah.
long time. For a long time. And I carried a lot of shame and guilt with me from that experience because it wasn't ever talked about ever again. It was
Just
just like,
bury it and don't do that.
God.
Don't act on your natural,
right,
inclinations.
right. So, I was just kind of left to figure it out, I guess. And I don't think I really did until after I was divorced.
You know, it's interesting that you bring this up, and I'm really thankful that you do, because we've touched on porn and kind of, male, growing up, but it's also female. They don't like to talk like they talk about it as much as we do, but
Mm-hmm.
it's ultra common.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we just don't realize that when we're in that group and we're growing up, and we think that we're the wrong one, that we have the problem.
Well, that your own desire makes you dirty.
Yeah, and it's come up a few times, and so I'm grateful that you brought it up again. And it's like, no, it's not. It's fine.
Right. Right. Right.
These are normal things, and we were made to feel guilt and shame about it. Now, granted, there's forms of pornography that we all know. It's like, that's not healthy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad you brought it up, because it's like, the more times that voices can come out and say, hey, this was something that happened when I was younger, we can also bring light to this being a norm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm a parent, and I have 2 of my kids are teenage boys. So it's like I'm not an idiot. They
Yeah.
have more access to the internet than I ever did at their age.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to make them feel bad for curiosity. I think what would have been beneficial in that environment as a witness is just normalizing the curiosity
Mm.
and saying, like, you know, rather than just making you feel shame about yourself and your desire, let's have a conversation about what a healthy desire looks and feels like in relation to other people in the real world. Because that's when the rubber hits the road and you are married and you do have a relationship, that stuff, if you don't have it figured out, it's going to cause problems.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself having that conversation with your boys, like, because you wanted to right the ship?
Yeah, I did, like, I think it happened when I found out that they were going to do like sex ed at school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, I remember doing that. But then I also wanted to like check in, like, okay, so the mechanics of this stuff, but like, how do you feel about it? Like, are you attracted to somebody of the same sex? That's fine. Like, just feel comfortable about talking about it because it's a natural part of being a person. So you shouldn't feel any shame about just being who you are. Like, talk
Yeah.
to me, and if you got any problems, like, or issues, like,
It,
I'll try to help you out.
it was received pretty well.
Yeah, totally.
And I just want to go another layer deep. Like, when you were having those conversations, was there a part of you that was like, I'm doing it? You know what I mean? Like, I'm having the conversations that I wish my parents would have with me.
Yes,
Watching
but
the
also,
generational trauma fade away.
oh, dude, I actually welcome the battle with that demon on a daily basis. Like, I
Yeah.
want it. I want to get bloodied, making sure that I get that shit out of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going
Love
to exist
that.
in my family. However, the the like, I'm doing it is also like followed equally by, but I could also still be fucking them up while
In new and different ways. New
it's
and
like,
discovered
exactly.
ways.
Yeah, right, in different ways.
Well, yeah, I mean, ironically, we felt like we had the playbook, we had the Bible, we had, the manuscript for life. But the reality is there's no main manuscript, because everyone's so different. I mean, you could have one son, and I'm sure you could relate to what I'm about to say, and you're like, I think I got this shit down with this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next son is like, they're totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, you kind of have, in my opinion, not being a father, I just have my greyhound, bless her heart, where it's like, I'm still learning as we go. I kind of have a framework. I kind of have an idea, but I have to tailor it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were given one path.
Right.
And it just didn't work out. So back to, so you got married.
Mm-hmm.
And where were we with that?
So got married kind of out of desperation and necessity, unfortunately. I did really love her in about as much a capacity as I mentally could love someone.
Yeah.
So, looking back, like she was younger than me, and she kind of got the shit end of the stick. It's like I was a good guy, but I was also very, very immature. And so was she. It's not all on one person. And we did our best. We required a lot of help from her family, and I was grateful for them, who are not in the truth. She was from a Pentecostal background. Oh yeah, there it is. The truth. Sorry. She was not a witness. She was raised Pentecostal and kind of was bouncing around different like non-denominational stuff. And she converted. She got baptized and gave it like a college try, like better than I could have even asked for. And that, even though we're not close anymore and we don't really have a good relationship, she will always like and forever have my respect for that, because it took an enormous amount of strength for her to come in under those circumstances and then also be the one that was the catalyst for us leaving together. I mean, just incredibly brave.
Yeah.
Incredible stupidity on both of our parts early on, but we were young, and she also came from a background that was very hyper controlling and rigid, that didn't teach her anything of much substance.
Yeah.
So
what
it's
age
kind
did
of
you
like
get married?
I was 20. I was 26, I think.
Yeah, that's young and witness, especially in witness age, because
That feels old for a witness guy to get married. 26.
Well, okay, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think anytime anyone's married in their 20s, I immediately go like, "Are you Christian?"
Yeah, right. By 90s witness standards, I think 25 was like, how come you're not dating anybody yet?
Yeah.
Why aren't you engaged?
I was 20 when I got married.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 20.
And it was like the same thing of like, we were really stupid, but we did really love each other as much as we could. And then like the religion separated us, but we still co-parent. We're still in each other's lives. We have a kid together, so works out great. But it's good that you have that respect for her, man, because yeah, that is a lot. So it sounds like she had a big part in taking you guys out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have done it if it wasn't for her. And there's one conversation that I remember, I don't think I'll ever forget. It was in our kitchen, and we were having some issues in our marriage, and we were both still committed. And I remember cooking, and she was like, "I'm gonna read A Crisis of Conscience," and I was just like, "The fuck you are," because I had already been disfellowshipped once, and I remember the conversation being pretty intense, and I think I even like raised my voice and yelled, and I was like, "I am never experiencing that again." And she was just kind of like, she respected that. She was like, "I understand. So you do you, but I'm going to do me." And she did. And I was just kind of like, I wanted to know what it said.
Yeah. The curiosity got you.
But it also was a cowardly thing, because I was like, well, at least my hands are clean.
Right.
Because I didn't read it. Yeah. So I don't think
for context, for people that may be listening or watching the video, can you kind of tell what Crisis of Conscience is for the listeners?
Sure. Yeah, I forget. I'm assuming your audience is mostly ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, but for anybody who's not from that background, A Crisis of Conscience is kind of like an expose on the leadership, and not any particular member of the leadership, but the actual structure of the way the leadership works. It's the whole organizational structure that is called into question. And it's by one of the guys that was from the top.
And he claimed to be anointed, right? At one
Claimed to be
point.
anointed, yeah.
And then, which is like the highest, that means you're literally in God and Jesus, in heaven with God and Jesus.
Yeah, there's Jehovah, Jesus, and you.
And 144,000 people, and that's it. And
Yeah,
so he was,
right.
for him to flip was a big deal.
Huge. Big deal. And he also had like a lot of involvement in policy change and the writing and doctrinal teaching and all that kind of stuff. Like he was a guy that was kind of helping build the infrastructure for what we have now.
Yeah, he's basically on the board of directors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a book that was published in '83, Crisis of Conscience, Raymond Franz. So if anyone is curious, check it out. If you're an XJ Dub or someone that is a Jehovah's Witness, why don't you go ahead and give that a little read?
Yeah, it's a beautifully written book, and it did not meet any of my expectations, which was going to be, this is going to be bullshit and apostate garbage.
Well, the thing about, I think, which makes it also so impactful beyond the position he held was his love and humility throughout the entire process. I never felt like he was, I mean, the title's apt. You know, I never felt like he was just attacking everything. He was just like, none of this makes sense.
Yeah, right.
So I like that approach.
She read it. I don't know if she read the full thing. I mean, she got like a quarter of the way through, and she knew at that point, she's like, yeah, we're out. And I'm like, did you read the whole thing? And she's like, I don't have to.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, well, where are you at? And she just started like telling me some things that I remember as a kid.
Oh, because you were having those organizational conversations.
Conversations and changes that I experienced in real time that I have memories of, because it was ways to confirm the faith and the belief. So now this is programming that she's talking about.
Yep.
And then when I read what went on behind the scenes during that programming, and like what was actually happening and the hypocrisy behind it, that there was actually two different sets of standards, I was like, that does not compute.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart. Like, it broke my brain first, but it ultimately broke my heart. And from there, I just fell down like an ex-Jehovah's Witness YouTube rabbit hole and stayed there for probably 3 years.
As we all do.
So you seem like a multi-layered guy, and I appreciate that about you 100%. And so I'm curious I don't dig in like this for everyone, you know, but I feel like in your case, you're going to have a good answer. So
okay.
No pressure. But when you felt the first twinge of the oh shit moment, like tell me what went through your mind and how all encompassing that was for you.
Whew.
And then tell me what happened as you continued to learn confirming information time and time again. Like, I want to go down this with you, because I bet it was torturous, but also very interesting.
What an amazing time.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back on it now, I'll start here, okay? I'll just say that this type of question could give an answer that could feel victimy, right? And that's not where I'm at. So in the answer and sharing the experience, I'll probably touch on some stuff that, you know, might even make me feel that way. But that's not how I feel about it now. And I am grateful for the experience. I put somewhere in the book that a person only needs to experience that one time before they go, okay, I need to figure shit out for myself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's probably many times in life that you have things that just kind of fall apart on you, but that felt like a foundational change for me. Like the whole rest of my future was going to be based on this single moment. That's the pressure I felt. And it wasn't like a self-imposed pressure. It was just the gravity of everything hitting me all at once was like, what? It felt like I was unplugged from the Matrix.
Yep.
And I can tell you the exact moment. So it wasn't when my ex-wife told me about, crisis of conscience and that stuff in there. It actually came from watching the Australian Royal Commission into the child sex abuse. And it it was so boring and so dry and so methodical. I could not get enough of it because I forget the guy's name, but the lawyer was dismantling everything in the policy book that my dad had in our house that we were never allowed to look at. This guy had
Shepherd
one.
the Flock book.
Yep, this guy had one on public display, and he's reading everything in
the
it.
Secret tome of the cult.
It's the corporate handbook. It's incredible, and I was just like, holy shit, this guy. It was just, he wasn't being cruel or mean or anything. It was just applied, dry logic.
So yeah, you saw them get ratioed logically.
Like, oh my God. Those guys looked like deer in the headlights on that stand. And I was like, I don't obviously know those elders, but I know that elder. I'm like, I know that fucking guy. That fucking guy was in my judicial committee, and that fucking guy disfellowshipped me. I know that fucking guy. Let me see what you got to say. Come on, little louder, please.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolute, flaccid, just like the weakest men I've ever seen in my life. And then here comes Jeffrey Jackson. Oh boy, the big guy.
JJ.
Old JJ, he's going to knock one out of the park, and he's going to reaffirm my faith right now because I serve the one true God, Jehovah.
Yeah, the whole time you're talking about this, I'm thinking, we have these pillars that are holding everything together.
Yes, yes.
Pillars of the congregation.
And it's like, the book, The Crisis of Conscience, okay, one of these pillars fell.
Yeah.
Then the Australian Royal Commission, it's like, it's starting to topple.
Whoa, it's a little shaky.
Come on, JJ, put it back up.
Come on, buddy. You want him to see him come in like Samson, right?
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, we know you're one of Christ's brothers, and Holy Spirit operates on you. Let's fucking see it, buddy.
Paul.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Bring it. And it was just,
yeah.
Like, what?
Turd sandwich.
And he left those guys that were actually there, those elders. He left those guys high and dry. That was the moment when I realized, like, okay, the dudes at the top, this is a corporation, and they are not going to take a hit because of you, random elder, publisher, whoever, out in, wherever the hell you live. Like,
you know what I thought when I was watching that?
Man.
I thought about the term that they've used and had us do is spiritual warfare.
Spiritual warfare, yes.
They should have.
Where was the armor?
Legal warfare,
right? Where's the armor?
Yeah.
Nobody had it. And it fell completely flat, and Jeffrey Jackson washed his hands and was like, goodbye. And I remember I was watching it on my phone. I was folding laundry, and I just started sobbing.
Oh, yeah.
Because the amount of anger mixed with disbelief, disappointment, and then loss, and then your mind immediately starts going through this hamster wheel Rolodex of wait, I didn't have my birthday when I was that, and I got in trouble for having birthday cake that one time, and I lied, and then I got in trouble. And wait, I really liked so-and-so, and I couldn't date them. It was just...
That came for you instantly?
I knew it would.
Boom. All in a flash, just wham. And I I guess that's what an anxiety attack feels like. I don't know, but I like felt it physically in my body.
True
Like I
panic.
panic. Like I started like
survival instinct panic.
Yeah, my heart was racing, and it was
it's really hard to explain to people that haven't been through that experience, and it's even hard to explain it because in my mind, in my opinion, it's like a complete rewriting of your reality.
100%.
And
in that moment, it's an Etch-a-Sketch moment where it's just like,
and that's why I think the Matrix, thing, it's funny, it's a sci-fi thing, it's a story, blah blah. I get it, but it's like, just watch The Matrix and you'll understand. You know what? Another movie that really did it for me, The Village.
Oh, I loved that movie. Yeah, I love that one.
I watched that movie with my partner, and it starts slow. She's like, okay, but it keeps going, and it's like, why? And she said, why do you love this movie so much? I'm like, just wait, just watch it. And then the moment, I don't want to spoil it, but you got to.
It's been 20 years.
You got to in this moment. So if you haven't seen The Village, I'm sorry, but she climbs over the wall.
Yeah.
And my partner, she's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, what's going on? And in that moment, I said, that's what it feels like.
Yep. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it feels like to wake up and go through what we went through.
Right.
Where you're like, we don't live in an old fucking town in the forest and creatures like, what?
Yeah.
And,
right.
And
so
no.
Okay. You know what? Can I add something real quick? I think that level that you're experiencing, where you're like, that's what it's like. What scared me was that I'm also living in reality.
Yeah.
So this is something that was created that I'm living in, and nobody, like, everybody's like, yeah, you're just a normal guy. And then that's what really freaked me out. It was like, I've been going this long and this far under these beliefs, and like, there's no safety net. There's no what?
It's almost exposing and vulnerable, right? Because you're like, I've been living life under these circumstances and these beliefs, and it's all fake. And like, you look back at your old life for a moment, and you're like, holy shit! Like, this was a whole life that was not real.
And that's when some people go like, finally, welcome.
Right. Yeah. Right. But that's why I say I'm grateful for the experience, because like, my life was pretty good in that pod,
in the bubble.
In the bubble. It was pretty good. My parents did a good job of giving me a good life, even though those things were not true, what we believed in. So I had to wrestle with that for a minute, and I talk about that in the book I wrote, and kind of frame it in a creative context where it's like, okay, if this thing that I believed in so hardcore was able to motivate me to do all of these things, what could I do if I build my own belief system that I truly, like, actually believe, and it supports me?
Yeah.
What could I do with that? And that's what I mean by I'm grateful for that experience of having everything hit me and me, like, almost collapsing and just, like, sobbing. Like, I don't know,
it's
that
powerful, it's emotional, it's
again.
A blank canvas.
For better or worse, most people will, like, by percentage in the world, will probably never experience something that life and mind and reality altering and bending all at once.
Well, I mean, good for them. God bless them. God bless them.
So how did you navigate with your ex at the time through this experience after? What were those days, weeks, months like?
Wait, I'm so sorry. Before we move on, I wanted to say a couple things. So I asked you that, and I knew you'd have a good answer, because in the past, we've talked on previous pods about likening that moment to something in the real world. Like, what is that like for real world people? And I think that the closest thing that you can come to is like wartime experience or an enormous natural disaster. Those are like the only two things that
Yeah.
typically cause that level of loss and
Mm-hmm.
reality bending and change
Mm-hmm.
that quickly. Like
Mm-hmm.
a bomb drops and
Oh,
wipes out
like you're
your
saying, like the analogy is like we're not safe. Like a war or a big flood happens, and so it's like my life's now different. I've
Like
lost everything.
your
exactly like
security is just
the
gone.
flood comes and wipes away your entire city and you lose your mom and your dad and your
Mm-hmm.
sisters and your church and
Mm-hmm.
your everything,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to start over. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
like the
Yeah.
closest thing to what we experience,
Mm-hmm.
like a big natural disaster is
Yeah,
the only thing that can cause that kind of huge impact, naturally in the world.
I think yeah, that's a really great example. I've given it some thought, and I think like on some levels, I was in LA recently and saw all the devastation from the fires, and I mean it's truly unbelievable.
Mm.
And I think there's people, I've listened to interviews from people who have lost homes and stuff in those fires, and it's a similar way that they talk. I think also another thing that is kind of burgeoning at the moment is like the political side of things, like
Mm-hmm.
historically we're living in some pretty wild times, like technologically, politically,
The
all
last
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, totally
Yeah.
right. You're gonna trigger one of those panic attacks, buddy, live. You better be careful.
Uh,
But I think people who have aligned with a political party that has failed them so badly on both sides, it's easy to pick on one side in particular right now.
mhm.
But that sort of thing where your ideology is attached to something and that falls, I think that's a very similar thing as
Yep,
well.
yep, yep.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, I've seen people on that side also have a waking up experience,
Mm-hmm.
and so it just goes to show you the power of influence and control, that
Well,
you could see these things happening, and
I, I
have
think
your take.
I think it's important, conversations like this one, podcasts that are meant to inform people, not just to like say, hey, this happened or is going on, but if you're also experiencing this, look what you can do. Like, this
Yeah.
is something that helped this person in a similar experience. You'll be all right. You'll be
Yep.
fine. There is life on the other side. It's going to be tough, but that's not a confirmation that what you learned in there is true. Just
Yep.
because you experience adversity and things fall apart does not mean that they were right and Jehovah removed his blessing from you.
For sure, for
That
sure.
was something that I had to like unwind for myself, because I knew if I didn't, like, I would definitely go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost too
and
much.
and
Like,
and some people
just
do.
people. Yeah.
Some people do. They're like, I can't. I need the support system. I need the group. And if that's what they need, like, by all means, if they need that, then I support that decision.
Yeah.
But yeah,
How do you guys feel about that? I mean, I don't know if you guys get many questions asked of you, but how do you feel about, like, are you guys atheist? Are you agnostic? Do you still have some sort of faith practice? Like, what was it that kind of was the residual, like, things that got left behind, or the holes that were there for you guys that
you want to start, Trent?
Yeah, I'll go first. Like I said in the beginning, I've kind of always been agnostic because I was raised a witness. But then as soon as I was a voracious reader. I was reading at a very early age and I read like really deep stuff early on. So like I just dove into so much. Like, and I would actually read encyclopedias and science books and stuff like that just for fun. And I was just
Mhm.
learning so much. So I was kind of agnostic and on the fence my whole life. And I still am. Like, I've seen some weird shit. I've heard some weird stories. I still can't answer life's big questions. I don't know how we got here. I don't know if God is real or not.
Mhm.
But where I essentially landed, and the reason I'm agnostic, is I think it's okay not to know. I
Mhm.
think the striving after and figuring out those questions is a big part of our existence and what makes it meaningful. And that it's okay to like think differently over time. I've gone like, I do miss religion sometimes. There's times where
Mhm.
I don't. There's times where I
Mhm.
miss the community.
Mhm.
I miss feeling like I did when I was a witness, like everything was a mystery and like there were mysterious forces at play in the world.
Yeah.
Like I miss that feeling a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I consider myself agnostic. Like I just, in the sense that I truly don't have answers. I think they're incalculable. And even probabilistically, which I'm into, like I'm into all that. Probabilistically, the answer is still basically a coin flip. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But we've talked to a lot of people, and I basically have a very open mind because we've talked to some people who leave and immediately join another religion. And
I did that. Yeah, I did that too.
Okay,
I actually have another question for
tell
you,
me.
real quick. Yeah. So you did say that you missed the kind of like the woo-woo side of it,
yeah,
right?
The mystery.
Yeah. Did you do anything to replace that for yourself? Like to
I earnestly tried, and like I tried like tarot and like witchy stuff.
Oh, I love tarot.
I love tarot too.
Yeah.
And I ultimately decided like I decided it's a way for me to randomly generate cards and associate things in my mind and help me figure out things about myself. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
totally
magical about it.
It's like an awareness thing.
It's
right?
an awareness thing. It helps me introspect. I'll draw cards and I'll say, I actually really don't like those. I'm worried about that actually. Or
yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. And that's interesting. Like, all of those things, that previous way of thinking, including the woo-woo stuff, influenced the way you operated in the world on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So when that went away, like, what did you use to take its place to kind of be your internal compass?
I guess I've used many things, man. Like it's taken me many years. Like I don't think I've fully replaced the spiritual woo-woo. Like I've done meditation. I started playing more in different video games as a sort of meditation and enjoyment. Me and Derek like philosophize all the time. That's what got us here together.
Yeah, we were just talking about that yesterday. And it's funny, I was going to say, not to interrupt Trent, the woo-woo stuff, if I was going to go back to a Christian denomination, Catholic all the way. I want the OG. I want the crazy spirits and demons. I want the gothic. That's
metal.
the route.
You want the metal.
Yeah, dude. I want the blood coming out of his hands and just that's my route. We were talking about there's a philosopher named Zappa, and he has this idea of the existential elk. Have you heard about this?
No.
So it came about in the 90s, and he's related to Camus, who wrote the article or the book about Sisyphus. I don't know if you're familiar with that either, but basically I'm just learning it. I think it's fascinating. We talk about philosophy a lot, but he argued that humans need at least 4 different things to choose from to have some sort of framework for life.
Okay.
And I pulled him up because I don't have them memorized, but he said, in order to protect yourselves, you have to either isolate, so you push disturbing thoughts out of awareness. You have to anchor, so you attach to a meaning system like a religion or an ideology. You have to distract yourself constantly to avoid reflection. Or you have to have sublimation, so you turn that suffering into art or philosophy.
Okay. Yeah. I'm the last one.
Yeah. I forgot to mention I've done the last one too, for sure.
Yeah. And that's what we were just talking about a couple of days ago, is I feel like we all could be any of those numbers at any time. And it's okay to be multiple. It's okay to be one, as long as you're not hurting people.
Sure.
And I'm right now in my life with this podcast and my trajectory with schooling, going to school for anthropology degree, and then ultimately trying to work to be a counselor. I'm 4. Now, I hope that I maintain 4, sublimination, if that's how you say it. But that's to answer your question. I was going to tease. I wanted Trent to go first because I knew everything he said would be my answer. So he put in the hard work, on behalf of me. But that's pretty much where I land as well. Agnostic. But I said it earlier too, like scientific method, logic, reasoning. But I also go like, there's weird stuff out there. I'm okay with it.
Would you mind sharing that list with me? I've never heard of that before, and number 4 made so much sense to me. And on a subliminal level, that's what my book is about, essentially. Is
I'll share it with you.
Yeah.
The other half is the existential elk half, which I just did a post about on the Culture Pod, where basically we evolved like an elk, with an elk's antlers grow to protect, to hunt, to fight off, to battle other elk. But the whole thought behind it was eventually the elk's horns get too large and actually become a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the relation to us is that's what we've done with our minds, where it's good how we've evolved, but eventually our own minds become the problem.
I see.
It becomes heavy antlers.
Yeah.
And so, I really like that thought process. I dive into stuff like that all the time, but then I always go back to, this is just another man with another thought.
Could be wrong.
It could be wrong.
I think that we both are slightly like humanists now.
Humanists, and I think I land now, and I'm open to changing constantly to absurdism. Like I'm not a nihilist. I approach myself with a positive nature, and I definitely don't want to end it all because life is meaningless. Yeah. But life's pretty absurd. Like,
it's full of RNG.
It is.
RNG.
Before you explain that, I'll tell you, I did kind of like really go the absurdist route for a minute, because it was like, it really took a lot of the weight out of the things that I was feeling. And I have ex-Jehovah's Witness friend back home, and I, called him one day and was just kind of telling him about where I was at. And he very like politely and lovingly was just like, you gotta stop feeling sorry for yourself at this point, where you're at. Like, you can't stay at this spot. Yeah. And I was like, okay, how do I get out of it? It's like, well, I don't know. It's different for everybody. So the absurdist part was kind of like I think the start of it for me. Yep. But I like to at least maintain a feeling of control. A little bit, even if it's real or fake. I like feeling like I have a little bit of control and say. So, the absurdist was kind of a little too far out there for me. I don't know. I still kind of like it though. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I think you'd said this in your book, something along the lines of take what works and leave the rest. And that's a really good mindset, is like, you don't have to be a Buddhist. You can just enjoy some thoughts and philosophy of Buddhism. You don't have to go all in on one thing. You could pick and choose everything. I went pretty hard in the Buddhism route for a minute.
It's a good route, but like most routes, so like I have gathered and collected so many different types of thinking and different philosophies and different religious outlooks over my life. And when you process all of them over time, you can walk away with really good lessons. Like when you process absurdism, that even if one time that makes a really hard circumstance more manageable, totally worth it to have absorbed the lesson of absurdism.
Yeah. Totally.
It's like, you don't want to go insane, and it goes back to that, like, you need something. So just, I don't know, in my opinion, just find what works for you. Like, I make the argument, even Buddha, there's three branches of Buddhism. There's not even one of those. You know what I mean? So it's like, even men mess that up to some extent. And I don't want to harsh or be bad on anyone it is Buddhism. Like, it's great if it works for you, and I love it. I also love Stoicism. I think that's a really helpful framework for life. But that is one of the main things. I'm glad we touch on stuff like that. This is the type of shit that people go through when they have to restart all over again.
Build self-identity from scratch. Yeah, you explore all this stuff rationally, see what fits.
And some people choose the distraction route, or coping mechanisms with alcohol and drugs and partying and sex, and I personally, it's like, maybe, hopefully, if that's what you do, just dabble. Don't linger.
Don't stay there.
because it's just, in my opinion, not a healthy route to lock into, because you'll never get out. And then my other take too about life is like, if we only have one life, try to enjoy it, but also know that if you don't have the balance in life, it's going to be a shorter life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you overindulge on anything, that's going to affect your body.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then, so therefore your lifespan will be shorter. And so that's also like the yin and yang of like the balance of life, is like, try to, you know, do a little of this, but make sure you back off on that, because
Yeah.
you know, you go too far, then it's game over, man.
It's, you know, it's also understandable too. Like, I think all three of us have probably experienced our own version of that, where there's like some reckless behavior because you're figuring shit out, you know.
It does unfortunately take trial and error.
That's the only way. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of why wrote the book the way that I did, because the trial and error of it felt also like the same trial and error you experience as an artist, like it working in a visual medium. You know, like the failure is how you learn. And for people that are like fresh out or thinking about leaving, that's something that I think it will creep up on you if you're not careful. I mean, you kind of have to go through it, you know, but
You have to.
you have to. But you shouldn't feel bad about the fact that you have to. Like,
No.
don't carry any shame into it if you can, you know, because
Well,
it's.
I think that goes back to one of your core tenets and beliefs from my vision from you, is just like, and I'm actually similar, which is I think why we resonate, is the curiosity aspect.
Mhm.
If you approach anything with a new level of curiosity, like, I've never been here, this is amazing, I've never done this is awesome, I've never experienced this, you have a childlike wonder. These experiences, there's also, anything could be, how do I put it? Anything could be a way to kind of gamify or level up your life for anything. So it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you just have the right mindset about life, it's like, oh, I'm working this job. It's like, well, what do you like about it? Oh, well, I like
Right,
this and
right,
this and
right.
this. And what do you hate for about it? Okay, well, just make that temporary, the things you hate, and then these things that you enjoy, amplify them.
Mm.
Like, grow from this experience, learn from this experience, be curious about these aspects, and you can reframe your whole brain to make like, okay, this is just a life experience section of my life that I'm going to carry on to the next.
Yeah, it's. I think the temptation. I don't know if you guys felt this way too, but the temptation was to throw away every vestige of my old life so that it didn't remind me of any of it.
We both did that.
I was very extreme, even up to like, you know, not too long ago. I would say like this year has probably been the year where I've let go the most of stuff. But I'm very like extreme. You know, it's just like, all right, we're burning this. I don't ever
Yeah,
like nobody should have this, and threw away a lot of pictures from that time of my life.
I think it's like, there's some symbology to it, there's some therapeutic aspects to it.
Uh,
You know, the disconnecting from, you know, it's kind of like, you know, if you lived in a house surrounded by smokers and you were wanting to quit, it would be really challenging,
mhm.
because you're just always around it.
Right.
You know, and then if you're like, what do I need to do personally for me? I'm not like looking at anyone else. You're like, just for me, I need to get out of this environment,
Mhm.
because, and throw away the cigarettes and not even see them.
Mhm.
Then that's what works for you. Other people, it's like, dude, I can keep all these old books. Like Trent has some of them. I had to get rid of all of it. I remember there
Yeah.
was a therapeutic process for me where I literally went to a dumpster and I threw out all of my suits.
Right on.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they still fit fine. Like, I could have just kept them and used them for whenever I needed them again. And I was like, no, I have to throw out all these suits and ties and shirts.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. Me personally, I think you got to do what you got to do.
I've had my cleansing moment. Like for me, we both moved. I moved
Mm.
to a whole new state. I got a 1-bedroom apartment by myself.
Mm.
And actually, like for a couple days, really thought I was cursed by God, like we had
Mm.
talked about. I was like, okay, yeah, God's definitely cursed me. I have nothing. I have no one. Like I got exactly what I asked for, and I basically hit such a low that I was like, okay, cool. Like if this is low and I'm at 0, like I'll just start building.
Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
just start doing things.
I'm in a very similar boat. I mean, that happened to me. You know, I ended up having to sell my house. I moved to a town that it's fine, but neither me or my partner want to live here. It shook me up. Honestly, I was just like, damn, I fought so hard, and it's like you're fighting so hard for the opportunity to start over again. That I don't think I really realized that that's what I was asking for. Like,
Yeah.
I just wanted to get out and be able to do my own thing, but I didn't realize that it was going to like involve such a transformation.
A
Like, you
nuclear
really
bomb
do.
on your current reality. Yeah.
Yeah, you really do have to like. I don't know. I'm sure it's different for everybody, but it was nice to hear you talk that way because I was starting to feel a little bit lonely in
Yeah.
that feeling like, oh shit, did I just completely destroy my life?
I do personally think that there are some people that have the curse of awareness more than others.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to put it. Yeah.
You know, some people can go through a very similar experience and not think so transcendental about life and like all these levels of consciousness. You know, they just go like, well, that sucked. You know, I got to figure this out and move forward.
I'm out now. I'm good.
I mean, there's a beauty to that
JW.
simplicity.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I wish it was that easy for me.
I really admire people that are able to do that.
Because the way that I see it is like max complexity. Like I genuinely feel.
Great superhero name.
Max complexity. Dang, you're right. You're right. That is a great superhero name.
You guys have given me a couple bangers today. I've been writing them down.
Man. So I really see it as like we're all in this cult, this organization against our will, without our consent, for whatever reason. We end up there. Just that circumstance alone, you know, means we're either going to continue or not. And like the or not piece means you lose everything. And so essentially, because of this situation we were in that we didn't consent to, it means that if we leave, it's a flash. It's like you lose that whole part and start out with a brand new piece of paper in reality, for better or worse. Like you don't consent to it. But as soon as you have that moment of everything has been a lie, or like this is all wrong, and you have the moment you had, your new sheet is right in front of you, like whether you ask for it or not.
Yeah. And the truth is out there, Trent. I see the thing on your hat.
I believe.
A UFO guy? I'm a big UFO guy.
Me too, man.
Yeah, he was talking about X-Files before we started.
Tattoo.
Me too. I have a tattoo inked on me over the forest of Flagstaff.
Well, all right, so you guys want to get a little bit weird for a second?
Yeah.
A safe way.
It's a safe space.
All right. So apparently, UFOs played a very big part into how my parents became Jehovah's Witnesses.
Interesting.
So I'm sure my parents would probably hate that I'm sharing this story, or I could be butchering it.
But they're unnamed. Versions. Who knows?
They're different versions of the story that I've gotten from my uncles, because I had to confirm whether or not this was just, family lore, or did I make this up. So they were living in Colorado when they were young. They weren't married at the time. And my dad had an encounter with a UFO. And my mom never talked about it. My dad talked about it twice to my brother and I. And it was, the way he framed it was almost like and this is why you don't do drugs sort of way.
Okay.
Because he was also like a pretty big stoner, and he was into like psychedelics, and he was always.
So he blamed it on the drugs.
I think he was always a spiritually minded person, and that's why he dabbled with that stuff. And he was, big into nature and backpacking and cycling and all this stuff. So he was kind of like into that shit, and it freaked him out when he had this encounter. And I confirmed it with my uncles, and they're like, oh yeah, your dad talked about it a bit, and he would like draw pictures of what it looked like, and all this stuff happened. Yeah. So apparently witnesses came and knocked on their door for his roommate who wasn't there at the time. And I don't know where he was at in relation to the UFO experience and them knocking on the door, but he said the way it was explained to him was that those weren't aliens, those were demons.
Mm.
Which
So he's like asking about
equally
what
fantastic. Right. It confirms the fantastic thing that my dad just experienced, right? It's still supernatural. It's just calling it something different. Whether or not it happened, who knows? So apparently, like, that made sense, and I don't know if that was the catalyst, but I know it played a part because that's where he got the definition for what it was that he experienced.
Whenever I hear about like alien stories or ghost stories or whatever, there usually is like only they were a part of it, and we just had Corrine on who regaled that, where she had an experience and none of her, well, her husband didn't experience it, although her children did, which is an interesting layer to it.
Well, I should say my dad was in the car with a buddy that experienced it the same way as
okay.
Wow.
So that leads to it. And then so that's the type of shit where I'm like, there's something out there. There's stuff I can't explain. The thing that fascinates me more is when someone has an experience like that doesn't align with anything they've ever heard of, seen of, done, experienced.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make me be as curious and fascinated if it's like, I'm a Christian and I saw an angel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a believer of science and I saw an alien.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Does that make sense? The science believer that sees an angel.
Yeah, that's more, well, that's challenging still because typically they intercept, they overlap. You know, someone who believes in sciences may still be a Christian, or at least they know about the Christianity teachings. It's like, I want to see someone that's like, dude, I saw this weird alien creature with multiple tentacles that I don't understand at all. And he told me things about me that I didn't know. And I asked an older grandma, and she's like, oh, yeah, all of that stuff is real. It's like, how is that possible?
Yeah, it's funny. When I was a pioneer, occasionally, you know, you're knocking on people's doors. You don't know what you're going to get. And there was times when I would talk to people, you know, where they would start speaking in tongues, which is a really freaky, like, that's a weird experience. And then you talk to people that were like so not religious, but believed the things in the Bible. And they would always have some sort of story of like, I encountered this, I saw this, that was enough for me.
Yep.
And, you know, I got to be honest, I never, ever disputed those people. It was just like, they clearly believe this as much as I believe what I'm talking about. So, all right, right on, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't know.
I think it goes back to the same thing again. They needed what they needed. They took what they needed and they ran with it. And then they threw away what they didn't, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so.
No, wait. UFOs still.
Well, I fell down a really, really big UFO rabbit hole because that was also at the time that I was like, I had disassociated. So we're all the way up to my disassociation. UFOs and disassociation go hand in hand for me.
I love that because it was also a part of mine, because it was something that I had always had so many thoughts about and never really felt the freedom to Google search everything I wanted to for fear of being.
Well, what was it, like 2016 or 2017? That's when they, like, the government said, yeah, they're real, and there was that footage of like you know, so
I mean, it's coming out more and more that they appear to be real.
Yeah, that was coming out. I had my dad's story running in the background. Like, I had seen weird shit before that I wouldn't say was like a UFO, but it was just like, that's weird in the sky. Didn't make sense. And that's about it, you know? So it was like, I believed in angels, to your point. Like, I believed in demons. I believed in those things. So the fact that there's something else out in the secular world that other people can't explain was enough for me to say, okay, I can just put that down as like, I don't need to worry about this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. It's not just me.
I think the really cool thing about this conversation we're having is listeners, we're touching on everything.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's off the table on this conversation.
Right.
So a couple things I want to say about UFOs. The first one is the most relevant. I talked about being agnostic since I was a kid because of science. And so when I'm a kid, I'm starting to hear things about like the age of planets being millions of years, but they definitely have a decay rate. Mm-hmm. And I start to learn about how big the universe is. And already I'm like, okay, probabilistically, maybe there's other life out there just based on how many of planets there are.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, there's all this, like, I start seeing the UFO art in the Renaissance art, like the Christian Renaissance art.
Oh, right.
There's a ton of UFO art, and so I'm seeing stuff like that. And I'm like, man, like what if God made, and I'm like 5 or 6 just thinking, but I'm like, what if this is just one Earth? What if there's a bunch of other places out there that are different? Mm-hmm. If the Bible's real and he's a creator and he just like wants to create, what if he made 17 of these? What if he made 1,000? Mm-hmm. What if we're the only one that fucked up and had to have his son die as a ransom for us? Well, how embarrassing would that be? Like, humans are the ones that fuck it up out of the whole galaxy of, perfect Earths he's created.
That's really, I like that. That's really sci-fi. That reminds me.
I was just having these ideas as a kid, and I was like, man, maybe there's stuff out there. But as far as the UFO thing, oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say this is a perfect example of how I helped put myself back together. It was through like these creative thought exercises.
Yeah.
Where, I come from a comic book background, right? So what you just said sounds very sci-fi and like such a cool way to explain what's going on. And I was trying to put together a comic. You kind of inspired me to finish it. I mean, you guys inspired me to finish a book. So I'll probably do the comic next. But
I love it.
It's essentially UFOs are just us from the future.
Right.
Taking a trip back to show a younger generation, like, look where we were at in history. You don't have to read about it anymore. We can just travel back through time. You can see it firsthand, and then we zip back to wherever we're from.
Yeah, time traveler theory.
Yeah, I was like, that type of creative exercise was what made me feel like I could have fun again. Like, I could have fun with my own thoughts and be like, oh, that would be a cool comic. Like, how would I draw that? And then you just kind of like start building from there. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy for people that haven't done that exercise, but
you build the Tolkien universe. You got to start.
Yeah, that's how anything's made. You just kind of get an idea and start it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about something I have off pod. I can't spoil it for all the listeners.
Oh, sure. Yeah, please.
I think it's a really interesting thing, but I know that there's so many different beliefs, when it comes to aliens. I know it's one of Trent's favorite topics. So I'm glad that we got to dabble. We could probably spend so much time. We haven't talked.
Say 2 more things about it.
I was just saying we haven't talked about the Anunnaki yet, so we could always go that route.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about.
I'm going to tap out if we go any Anunnaki talk.
We haven't talked about how aliens, the green ones, are us, after years of genetic modification, and then they're coming back to monitor. There's so many routes we can take, but which one are you going to take, Trent?
By the end of this, we'll have started our own cult.
I know.
With our own weird belief system.
No, I do love the UFO stuff, and I don't get to talk about it. But okay, last thing. There's actually 2 things that I found really interesting. Lieutenant Commander David Fravor, like a U.S. Navy pilot, had some really cool encounters, and it's just like riveting to hear about his story. Like, whether you're into it.
I actually do believe in aliens. So I just want to put it out there, even though I do joke around. I'm a believer.
I'm agnostic about them, just like I am everywhere.
I think they're out there. I mean,
I think they're out there.
We're here. What?
Here's my theory on that. The reason why the government isn't saying anything. I love that we're now a conspiracy theory podcast.
I love the whole personality of the podcast.
Thanks, Sean.
We're pivoting. Harsh pivot after this.
I'm sorry, but the audience that you're going to get after this show, I don't know, man.
We need to get back to witness trauma.
Well, yeah. So I want to say this, and you can close out with whatever. My theory, it's a fun theory. the reason why the US government doesn't want to really tell us about aliens is for years they've used the Christian framework for control. So once they reveal that they no longer have the Christian framework for control because aliens are real, they lose that lever.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about how hard it is for one witness to leave. Imagine if every single denomination left at once.
Right. Right.
So that's a fun theory. Obviously, it is what it is, but it could be real.
I mean, all this stuff sounds like a great like movie or TV show. Like
just wait until we talk after the podcast.
Okay.
Right. I'm excited too. I don't know what he's talking about. So
we're gonna have to schedule another one of these just for that.
Yeah.
So do you feel comfortable? I'm sorry, just to switch real back to you, Sean. You have some really cool credentials and like some cool stuff you've worked on that like the 90s and 80s kids might appreciate. Like, do you want to talk about any of that?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I can. So yeah, I'm a visual designer still. I've gotten now into production for film and TV. So that's a pretty big swing. I took a big swing leaving corporate America into, art full time. And that was really hard, but it was worth it. So I was like, I want to take another big swing and try something new.
Hell yeah.
Gotta do it.
You have to. It's like, I kind of feel like for your listeners, if they are at that point where, you're thinking of leaving or you have left, I was like, if I don't take this swing, like it just feels like a wasted opportunity. Like, why did I sacrifice all of that stability if I'm not going to do anything with the freedom? Yeah. So that's where I'm at. That's kind of how I approach my art. And I've worked for like Nickelodeon. They did so Paramount was kind of getting into like the Web3 crypto NFT space. And I got to work on a pretty cool project that was an NFT project, which is cringe enough now looking back. But at the time, the functionality of what they wanted to do was pretty cool. And there was going to be like a lot of access to behind the scenes stuff or like, going to a physical park, like a Universal Studios and getting special access to rides or stuff like that. So I got to be part of a team that revived the Angry Beavers and like Cat Dog.
Nice.
Kind of those 90s. Was that Nickelodeon? Yeah, it was Nickelodeon cartoons. Real Monsters. I got to work on some original art. It was like some of the first original art of those characters produced since the Nickelodeon studios burned down.
Whoa.
So that was a really cool opportunity. Like, I was like, man, I remember watching these as a kid. Now I get to work on them in this cool opportunity.
I can only imagine, man. Yeah, that's like dreams coming true, right?
Dude, I was on the team that got put on the pod for those ones, and then there was a team that got put on a pod for Rugrats and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh my god.
Oh dang.
And I was like, I mean, I was happy, but I was like, dang, I wish I could have worked on the Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been rad.
So that, I did that, and I did a comic book that got published and circulated nationally.
Was it Young Sherlock?
Yeah, Kid Sherlock. Yeah,
Kid Sherlock. Yeah.
So that's
super cool.
Yeah, thanks. That was really, really fun. Like that was one of those moments where I felt like I had made it, and I was actually still a witness at the time that was published.
Wow. Okay.
And what's funny is if you look at like the trajectory of my art and the timeline of when I left, my style completely changes like right around the time of my divorce, my mother-in-law dying, losing my family. Like it all takes a really big turn. And I kind of give credit to the whole like falling apart, because as a witness, Kid Sherlock was the safest entry to the comic book industry possible.
Because it's not magic, it's not
right,
skimpy girls or whatever.
Exactly. And honestly, dude, like the fact that you said that, like that's a real conversation that we had where it's like, how can we do this without getting ourselves in trouble?
Yeah, 100. I was just thinking how hard that must have been. You're like wanting to do art, and in the comic book industry, it's hard, man, to
It
find
is
something that's witness appropriate.
very competitive.
And then
Very competitive.
already you could have done the cleanest comic in the world and you still would have had brothers who were
Yep.
uncomfortable just because it's a comic book
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
they
did you
treat
know,
them as,
brother, Sherlock actually smoked a lot. He smoked a
yeah,
pipe,
literally,
and
yeah.
we wouldn't want to promote smoking, so that's not a character you should draw.
It's funny because your comment about that mirrors your friend Scott Homan and his documentary Witness Underground.
Yeah, really
where it's
good.
like, how do you create this art and that one, music,
Mm-hmm.
while you're still in?
Mm-hmm.
It's constantly a battle.
Well, my dad got in trouble one time for my brother and I were in a band, a witness band, and we started gaining some popularity, and we were playing
Been
locally,
there.
and there was a promoter that worked in Stockton that was actually pretty good. Like he could get some bands that were on tour that were like, on the edge of blowing up, or like they've been kind of popular. So we had the opportunity to play with some cool people, and we played this one show where he put us as the headliner because he knew as a Jehovah's Witness band we were going to bring the crowd. And he was like,
Oh,
this
funny.
band on tour, nobody knows who they are. Yeah, they're better than you, but they're going to open for you. And we were so nervous. And at the place that we played, they had this big projection screen, and the band asked that they play the scene from Kill Bill where she goes in and fights the crazy 88s.
Oh,
And
that's like your worst
it
nightmare
was just on
playing this
repeat,
show.
right? And
Wow.
they played this like really heavy, aggressive. It was awesome. They were so good. Blew us off the stage. And we came out and we did our set and it was all right. And then like the following day, my dad was like, "We got to talk."
Yeah.
Did he tell you in this conversation that there were a lot of gays in the music industry?
No, it was it was that was a good one. No, it's more about like he got in trouble. He wasn't presiding over his house in a fine manner,
Yeah,
because you exposed everyone to Kill Bill disgustingness.
Exactly. They played a rated R movie at a show that we put on.
I had such similar moments that killed me emotionally, dude, because like I was also in a band. We were gaining popularity and we were pretty good because I was like 16 and I was writing the music and playing guitar and doing the recording stuff. But my bandmates were in their 30s, like mid 30s, and we worked and lived together. So we were just practicing playing music all the time. Like
you guys are probably awesome.
I mean, it's like back when I was in high school and the football team,
Yeah, that's okay.
I loved it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
you were pretty good, Trent. Don't. You were great.
Thanks, bro. That means a lot.
I got you, buddy.
We did a show and like all the witnesses came and like sure enough, just like I was getting talked to after. It was inappropriate this, it was inappropriate that. My pants were too tight. I was screaming. It was like
he was screaming infidelities. That's what he was doing.
Yeah, dashboard confessional reference. But yeah, man, it was crazy. And I remember being on stage, reading the crowd, my cheeks getting red, realizing this is probably going to be my last show. Like just based on how it's going right now, I'm getting a talking to for sure. And my dreams just went up in smoke.
Damn.
But it was
well,
crazy, man.
Do you still like write and produce privately? I mean, you said you got an apartment. I mean, it's perfect. Get yourself I have a little interface right in front of me that was like $100 and it's, does the trick.
Dude, I still produce. Yeah, so like after that went down, I basically had to quit the band. We had lots of opportunities that went away. I just kind of sacrificed it. Still regret it. But then I started doing my own music. And so I have like a catalog of just like acoustic stuff that eventually, like when the mid thousands rolled around, I started doing more electronic stuff. I do like EDM mixes, like hour-long mixes. I do originals. I do everything.
That's cool.
Privately.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad to hear that it didn't kill that in you, and you still make it. Like that's really cool.
Yeah, and I'm passing it on to my daughter too. She's like singer, she's songwriter, she's got a beautiful voice. And are you still doing music?
Yes and no. I have, like, I know you guys can't see, but I have a guitar collection on this wall right here. So yeah, I play pretty much every day kind of noodle around. And with the project that I've been working on outside of the book, a lot of it has like the potential for sound design and
Cool.
soundtrack like work. Like I have a whole audio mood board picked out for the series that is either
Cool.
like, if it can't be purchased, how much of this can be self-produced? Because I have played music for so long, I have produced a few songs that it's like I think I could get pretty close or come close enough with what would function as a sketch to pass off to other talented musicians and say, this is what I need. Can you help me do that? So that's where I'm at with music. I really miss playing in a band. I mean, there's nothing like playing in a band. It's incredible.
I know, man. Isn't it just incredible? Like
It's
when you try to
incredible.
explain the endorphin rush of like, especially if it's your music
Uh-huh.
and people enjoy it or at least tolerate it, and you think you sound
Yeah.
good, like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
man, oh, it's great.
It is great.
It's just so fun, like tuning in with the band, like being tight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I want to navigate back to your wake up moment and that process of navigating to where you are now in life.
Mm.
So it's kind of a step back, but can you kind of describe briefly what your journey was from that wake up moment, highs, lows, until you got to this point?
Oof, yeah.
You have 3 minutes. No.
All right, well that's fine. I've got 3 kids, so let me dedicate a minute to each kid. So I made my children the focus of my attention. And it all came from a conversation that I had with my daughter, like right as her mom moved out of the house. So we disassociated during COVID, moved from California to Austin, which would have facilitated like the perfect, most beautiful fade, right? Could have
He's close to you, Trent.
Yeah, dude. I'm in Fort Worth.
Oh, okay, yeah. We should link up. So there was a moment like in the drive, because I drove from California to Texas, where I felt like, why did I go so hard? Like I could have just moved and nobody would have known, and I would have been able to have like, even if it was fake, I would still have these relationships with people, and that I worked through that on my drive. And then, fast forward to us living in this new house, we were both making like really good money. Like we were set up to be financially secure if we like made better decisions, and we were both aligned as what we were doing in life, right? And I was kind of floundering creatively and professionally, and I did take like a really big swing and just went into art full time, left the stability of my corporate job, and just started like going, I'm gonna either die or figure it out. My marriage kind of, tanked right around the same time, so it was just like trying to focus on the kids as much as possible and find ways to explain to them what was happening, how I understood what was happening, that it's okay to feel the way they were feeling about any of it, any way they felt about it. Like it was appropriate to miss people, like it
So
was.
your kids were your kids ever in the organization?
They were, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow,
they
that's
were born
something we
into
haven't even covered at all.
Yeah, they were born into it too.
Wow, so that must have been big for them.
It was. Fortunately for 2 of them, they were young enough to where they hadn't like made a lot of connections, and like some of the belief didn't fully sink in, so they were okay. My oldest one, I really love the relationship I have with him because we can like joke about it as peers, but I know that there's still like a lot of anger and hurt feelings that he has that we just haven't been able to talk about. Not for a lack of trying, but it's just, I don't know if it's the right time,
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to go through, especially as a kid, because we talk about how hard it is for us as adults, but then as a kid, it kind of manifests as just like losing your everything. for no
Well,
reason.
he's one of those guys that's just kind of like, damn, that sucks. All right, well, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
He kind of has a little of that, but in an authentic, like, it's not because he doesn't want to engage with it. It's just I think he understands what happens so fast. He's able to process it quickly that he's like,
Cool.
oh,
That's good.
all right, well, that was dumb.
You're raising them with that Sigma mindset, dude. Love it.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, so you establish yourself in Austin. You have your 3 kids. You're solo out there, just with them at this point.
Yeah, well, we're living. I have a girlfriend, I have a partner, and we're living with her, and it's been an adjustment. It's been awesome, but it's been an adjustment for her, for me, for the kids. Like, it's it's difficult, but finding a person that's willing to take on the challenge of like where I'm at with 3 kids,
Yeah,
like, it's
it's
a
great.
big deal. It's a big deal, and I don't take it lightly. And we, as to be expected, like, this type of environment that we've kind of created and trying to help each other out is it can be very difficult.
How does your partner, how does she take, I don't know, the JW side?
Man, she's been like a real champ. Because when I started this relationship, I had moved through a lot of stuff, but I wasn't really aware of how much of the cult mindset was still running in the background, keeping me from being like the most open, the most honest, the most version of myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of the frustration that she saw with the Jehovah's Witness stuff was like, damn, this guy's come so far and made so much progress, and there's still these things that are popping up in ways that he doesn't see.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that she's the type of person she is, because sometimes I need somebody to put me in a headlock, and sometimes I do need to wrestle with stuff, and I do need to fight.
Yeah.
And that's it's like I learning to fight in a constructive way is an entirely
Oh
new
yeah.
concept to me. It's
That is
entirely
something that
new.
takes lifelong mastery, especially
Yeah,
with partners, man.
yeah.
Yeah, I like the way you said that, because in the black and white world, it's like, problem, go to this book. This book
Mhm.
has the answer.
Yeah,
Problem solved. Let's get back
right,
to our routine.
right,
And it's like, life's not really like that.
right.
It's just not. And so you have to, in my opinion, you have to learn that having tough conversations is a good thing,
Hmm.
as long as you come from a good place,
With
and you
good
know how to,
intentions, yeah.
good intentions, and also know how to communicate them as healthily as possible.
Hmm.
And it's just not something we learned.
No,
This makes me uncomfortable. You made me stumble. Like, we
right,
learned how to
Oh my
communicate pretty shitty
gosh,
things to
another
right,
each
right.
trigger
other.
word.
Well, the whole idea of having a personal standard that operates as a boundary, that that didn't really exist.
Hmm.
Telling somebody that you disagree with something,
We were commonly accepting boundaries from other people,
other people.
and then
Yeah,
it changed by which elder and where their boundaries, and it
you
was
you
really rough.
never had steady, consistent footing ever.
Yeah.
And I think it's been really interesting with this relationship that the learning goes both ways, right? Like, that was something that I didn't realize, like, how much entitlement I carried with me into this relationship. The entitlement of, hey, I just went through this huge life crisis, ease up on me, right?
Yeah.
That is very destructive in a relationship, and you're not taking into account the experience of the other person and all of the ways that their life may have shattered, and they put themselves back together, and what
Yeah,
it's part of the stage they're in, right? You have
that's
to
great.
learn how to extend grace to somebody because you were that person at one time, or maybe you're at the same level, who knows. So that was something that like really made me kind of sick to my stomach, and she pointed it out, and that's how you know that that person really cares about you.
Yeah, that's a real
1,000%.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good person right there. Yeah. Cause
Yeah.
if she wasn't, from where I see it, from what you're telling me, if she wasn't in a good kind of foundational place or truly cared about you, she's out.
You know what
Yeah.
is yeah, I mean, that's something like I've retained that I really like, is just how absolutely savage I can be to cut something out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it once it crosses that line, if it ever does, and I say I'm done, it is truly over and it will never be touched again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Only if to serve a point in the future as to why I don't put up with that.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that I would ever return to something like that. So I do like having that extreme protection. It's not a defensiveness. It's just it is a hard line in the sand to be like,
It's a
this is,
protection to some degree.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
glad.
It's also, it's like in the way I see it, it's also, we're allowed to create these own rule sets for ourselves, you know? So if that's what you need in this moment, as long as you communicate that as healthily and as effectively as possible without malice or bad intentions,
Mm.
then you're good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like until it's sprinkled with those other negative attributes, that's when it's problematic. But any
Mm-hmm.
healthy person, if it's received well,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to understand. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's where I think it's finding a person that has a good foundation. That's what helps us all kind of navigate forward, even if they aren't necessarily at 1,000% the same kind of trajectory as us. As long as they understand, I think anything's possible.
Yeah. If it's okay with you, I'd like to just branch off on that thought for just a second.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
You know, if I could go back and tell my younger waking up version of myself what to do differently, I think it would be to pay attention to how the way I talk about the experience affects my personal relationships, because it bled over into my professional relationships. And if you start identifying with the wound, you tend to turn that into a crutch that will help you get attention.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like I'm entitled to this compensation or this position or this sort of treatment because I sustained X, Y, and Z, and you don't know how I feel. And I feel like the ex Jehovah's Witness community is not super tuned in sometimes on that particular feeling.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think I spent too much time with when it came to the waking up and the ex Jehovah's Witness content. Like, I absorbed everything, I consumed everything, and I don't know that that was a bad way to do it. It just gave me a lot more to sift through, and like the anger lingered a little too long, you know, and the sense of entitlement stuck around too long as well. And I noticed that even within the ex JW community, there's almost this way of like measuring trauma.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you were only in for 10 years. I was actually born in.
Yeah.
Oh, you were just a publisher. I was actually a regular pioneer in China. You know, like that
Yep.
sort of thing where it's
But
like, listen
and
to
to be
me.
fair, that's what we were taught,
Yep.
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know? Yeah,
The
so
kind of passive aggressive, like, yeah, hard to describe in words.
that's all we had.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I can see it to some extent,
That's all we
but
had. That's
it's
crazy.
like
It is.
I can see it to some extent, but yeah, you need to go through it. And I mean, it goes back to a similar thought process with balance. It's like I think you need to take in that stuff as you're waking up, as you're getting out. You need to touch on a lot of things: the anger, the frustration, the structural things, the theocracy, the failed you need to go through all that stuff. It's very
Mhm.
important. But I personally think a lot of people don't eventually then go to, who do you have in your life that you can talk with to help you navigate through this in the most healthy way as possible? You know, what support system do you have in place? Who do you have, whether that be a therapist or maybe a mentor or a coach? And I just don't think people, unfortunately, get to that place where they can find that structure to help them navigate in the way they see fit.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's really insightful. I think that there's a lot of the way that we learned plays a big role in like the people that you follow on YouTube and stuff, because a lot of these people speak with a lot of certainty, and it's very easy to kind of like, or this is what happened for me. I realized like, oh, well, I can just monetize my pain and kind of turn this into a brand. And I tried to do that, and I very quickly realized like, number one, I'm never going to outpace a Lloyd Evans, right? And I don't necessarily want to be that because of the amount of shit he has to subject himself to on a weekly. It's like, why did you ever leave? You're still going to meetings, bro. You're still attending every convention. You're still watching all this garbage just so you have content to dismantle.
Well, and I think along those lines, like people, our brains are wired. We love the drama. We love the anger. We love the negativity. We love ruminating with other people in the comment sections and going at it and battling.
It's sensational.
It gets clicks, and I totally get it. And I agree with you. Like, you're not going to become the next Lloyd Evans. People don't know who Lloyd Evans, or John Cedars. You can look him up online. He has a popular XJW YouTube channel.
For the record, I would love to have Lloyd Evans on, and I couldn't do what he does. Like,
he has a skill set for it, for sure. He has his own drama and his own things, but
he was instrumental to me when I came out.
I think anyone go back to day one video with Lloyd Evans and go as far as you need to go until you're done. You know what I mean? It's really easy to maybe pick a topic here or there that you're like, oh, I really want to listen to him talk. But I found it therapeutic for me. Like, I want to wake up and navigate along his trajectory. But then there is inevitably a moment where, okay, I don't need this anymore. I now need something that's a different lane. I don't need to keep being in this lane. And I do tease, I battled with that, is, should I start this podcast? And I ultimately decided to do it because I felt like this particular lane didn't exist.
Right.
And I'm not constantly talking about the drama and the problems. Does it come up in conversations? Is there trauma? Of course. But it's like, how can we have healthy conversations about this?
Right.
And that's why I felt like, okay, I'm going to do this. But I also know it's tough because you talk about, how do I monetize this? It takes time and money. So it's like, help support it, in whatever way you can. I hope it's financial, but in no way, shape, or form am I I'm going to make thousands and thousands of dollars off this. I'm going to keep the servers going, keep the lights on.
Well, that's an interesting point to get to when you realize, if you do this long enough, you will get to a point where you're like, okay, what are we doing here?
Yeah. And, well, that goes back to your project versus product.
Yeah.
It's like my hope is to constantly help it and be there. If there's a financial thing, great, but that's not the purpose. And I think if the purpose is to somehow make a bunch of money from this, pass, skip.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? If it happens, great. But for me, it's like the goal is helping people.
It comes with compromises, right?
Yeah.
And what I like most about what we did is it's been for free, basically, for the benefit of a very specific marginalized group of humans, as well as every human that goes through something like that.
Well, and I also think it's going to be similar to what I said about Lloyd Evans is there will always be someone a year from now, 2 years, 3 years that goes, I'm starting with episode 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they go along this path with us, and they'll see the journey of our conversations with multiple people. They'll see us grow through this journey, and it'll help them. And so that's kind of the goal. And then, you know, if we can help create a community, you know, of people, that's great, because community is so important. That's one of the big things we lost.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a goal as well, just to continue to create that community. But
Yeah.
you know, it is tough. You can jump the shark. You can get to a point where, you know, we were talking with an author that came on, and she had a podcast. She finally said she finished it, Catherine Spearing, and she's basically like, you know, it's kind of done. They're evergreen episodes. Like,
yeah, that's how I see it.
You know, it's like I did it for, you know, so many episodes, and they're always going to be there for them.
Yeah.
And, you know, that may get to a point down the line where that happens for us, but I don't see that anytime soon.
Well,
there's more and more every day.
Really grateful to be a part of it. I mean, if it exists as just a capsule collection of where you guys were at, I mean, that's a huge privilege to be part of that.
So if anything, 50 years from now, we might get a small note in a history book about the great exodus from Jehovah's Witnesses in 2020.
Yeah, right.
And they'll look back and go, they were real.
They were cool.
They were cool. Speaking of cool, Novice Enthusiasm.
Yes.
Can you kind of tell us a little bit about your thought process behind that title?
Sure.
Of your book?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's something that I've been working on for a while. The first time I mentioned it to anybody was in 2018 when I was being interviewed for a comics podcast. And at that time, like, I had some success under my belt, but I was still really rough as an artist. And I was part of a small community in my hometown of Stockton, and we had some comic enthusiasts there. And the guys that I looked up to reviewed my work. And one guy said in a review on his website that it exhibited novice enthusiasm. And I remember sharing that review with somebody, and they got offended for me on my behalf. And they were like, man, fuck that guy. And I'm just like, why? What do you mean? And they're like, he's saying it's bad. And I was like, yeah, I know, but that's like the nicest way he could have said it. And it still gave me like credit for my work. It was like his work embodied a feeling. And I was like, cool. Okay, so I know I can do it. And then when I got up to like the time Kid Sherlock was coming out, Novice Enthusiasm had just kind of been running in the background as like, that's kind of a cool approach to what I do. Like, maybe I just approach everything with like, I don't know anything. And it kept me humble. And I think, I'll be honest, a large portion of it was informed by low self-esteem. It was like, okay, Novice Enthusiasm, maybe I'll just, you know, I'll just like embrace that, because yeah, I am so bad. I'm just out here doing my best, guys. You know, that's not what it is. It's like, if you maintain a beginner's mindset to something that you might even be a master at, it's going to keep it fresh and alive, and you're going to like keep creating. It's not going to get stagnant for you. So that was me kind of like flipping it on its head.
Would you argue, if someone's curious about something and it's like their first time, their first experience, I think there's a healthy level of energy spent, but at the same time,
worrying, you mean?
Not worrying, just like
you're learning something new, you're spending energy trying to
you're learning something new, and therefore it takes a lot more awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And you're really in it because it's new. You're trying to pick up all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maintaining that level of curiosity, even at a masterful level, would that wear you out?
Yeah, I mean, you do have to like take breaks, you know. Like, for me, I just kind of start to like lose interest in the well that I keep coming back to over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, I not that I mastered any technique from it or anything. It's just I kind of got what I needed from it. So how do I build on that knowledge? So, now I'm getting into like editing and storytelling through being intentional with what you leave out, what you take away. And I'm trying to figure out how can I hit the most amount of emotion with the least amount of words.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like just still having fun and still realizing like, man, I really enjoy learning.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I guess I visualize it as like a measured sprinkle of when it's needed.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like I'm gonna dive into this and start with that curiosity and then you'll get into the flow.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit in the chapter where I talk about photography and doing that, and that was like very reckless because I bought an expensive camera, didn't know how to use it, still don't, and just go out and start shooting. And I love the pictures that I take, and it's teaching me a lot with like such limited understanding. So it can vary on how extreme.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this is a concept that we realistically all need because, like, for instance, when you're in a long-term relationship, it's really easy to just think of your partner as the same person. You get in these routines and habits, but every now and then a dash of, let me look at you as if I just met you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
Mm-hmm.
interact with you like this is our first date.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of energy goes a long way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same for everything, I think.
Yeah.
So in addition to this book, you have one other kind of big creative thing that you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Are there kind of some things we can maybe sprinkle in to give some kind of teases to
Sure.
what that might be?
Yeah, sure. So the project or the the idea was Kintsugi, which was a story that was kind of invented as a way to help me explain to my children my feelings about everything that happened with the people that I said goodbye to, the things that were responsible for it, like how some relationships fell away. And it was a project that needed to happen artistically for me. And the fact that it is now potentially going to be a TV show is pretty awesome. To take an idea that was built purely for survival and say, man, this story actually worked, and it retains like all of my personality and honest feelings about everyone involved, but still true to how I want to tell it. It feels incredibly powerful. So it's like, even if it never gets picked up and put into production, it still served what I needed it to do.
Yeah.
The catharsis.
Yeah, it still did its job, even if no one
that.
ever sees
That's
it.
the best art to me, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I have a little tease of what it is and
Oh, yeah, you can actually, it would be fun to hear it like explained back to me from somebody seeing it for the first time.
Well, when I looked at everything, you gave me a little bit of info, and I told you, I immediately said, nope, I don't want to dive down this. So I can't. I saw the visuals, and I know what's going to happen here, and I know the way my brain works. I'm very visual, so I'm like, I want to wait.
Oh, okay, great.
So, and I really hope, like, however this manifests, whether it's on whatever platform, like subscribe, pay, purchase, I'm just really excited. And I the funny thing is I learned about, well, I guess I'm curious, like, why did you name it what you named it? Are you able to?
Sure. So it's called kintsugi, which is a Japanese art form that, if something like a piece of pottery breaks, they don't throw it away. They put it back together and put everything back together with gold lacquer. So it enhances the fracture and shows that there's a beauty in the putting back together of this thing. So that's about as far as Kintsugi goes in the actual story. It does show up physically throughout, but essentially it's a story about relationships, and it's set in kind of this retro futuristic 70s
Yeah, the visuals are incredible.
Oh, thank
I
you.
want to see. I haven't seen yet.
Thank you.
It's like
I love that. I love retrofuturism.
I don't know how it's gonna look animated, but the stills I've seen, just the blend of using like black and white and color.
Yeah.
It's just like the thing I immediately saw was I can't wait for this to pop off screen.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
to see it in motion.
Yeah, the use of color is to kind of show, not it's not only assigned to a character, but it's intentional in the way that it's assigned to show their worldview or their emotional state. So, the character of the father, it's set in a like a kaiju Power Ranger retro anime superhero vibe, and all of these things represent either a direct relationship to the Jehovah's Witness theology or what it's like to kind of like wake up from that. And also, how somebody in a mental state, a fragile emotional state, could be sucked in to a cult like the Jehovah's Witnesses. So it's ambitious in what I'm trying to do, but it's so artful, and I feel like my personality is on full display that even if it's rejected, like it wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. It's just like, this shit's dope. Like, this is the
it is legitimately dope. I kind of want to get the tattoo of the butterfly with the katana.
Oh yeah, okay, that was
it's pretty legit.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
How did you connect with Mark Bristol?
So there's a pretty robust artistic community here in Austin. It's not just music related. It's like, there's lots of visual designers, and there's like lots of productions coming here. They're calling it like mini Little Hollywood or something. Like they're trying to build it out as like some place that, can do big entertainment.
Fort Worth is angling for that too right now.
Yeah. It's moving out here, and it has been for like the last 5 years, I think. So just being a designer, plugging myself into the network and just showing like very early renderings and very early sketches of what Kintsugi was, and telling them like, hey, this is my experience. I was raised in a cult. This is how I interpret it. Check this out. Everybody's like, what the fuck?
Oh, you went for it. Okay.
I went for it, bro. Like I am in it.
I love it. it.
So
I'm so glad to hear that.
So there's
feeling.
Yeah, there's people that are like, okay, this guy's way in over his head. He's crazy. And then there's other people that are like, I see what you're doing. Hey, let me put you in contact with so-and-so.
I love that. So Bristol's and I know we weren't going to talk about it too much, but like has he written everything?
Yeah, I would say
conceptual.
I would say the lion's share is his writing, but the way it works, and I'm so glad that he works this way too, is he comes from an illustration background, so he does a lot of storyboards. And I wanted to work with another sequential artist like comics, like storyboards, so that it retains the personality of the real deal. Like I don't want this hyper glossy, marvelized, Disneyfied thing. This needs to look very graphically intentional, and he needs to understand the types of films that I'm referencing. So having him like write for it was part of me just letting go, because I had a stranglehold on the vision, which I think you do have to be very intentional when you're steering your own vision. That's something I learned too. People will try to involve themselves with your vision and take credit for work that you are doing. And they are in a position of encouraging you along. So that gives them the feeling of like, I am entitled to your success in this, but it will always be you that bring it over the finish line. And it has to be. But working with Mark gave me the feeling that I could like let my hands go a little bit and trust him to understand. So what I did is I did a visual beat board which laid out the visuals for, scene by scene. These are the characters involved. This is how they move through the environment. This is what I want them to say. Here's the dots, you connect them. And he did, and we did like a few rounds, and there was like some cleaning up that I had to do specifically with the villain, who is the embodiment of the governing body.
I love this.
In one guy. And there's words that I wanted him to use that I was like, it has to be this way in order for this to land. And I promise you, when this lands, this community is going to feel so seen that it is going to blow up in a way that you don't expect, that I don't expect. It's not going to come from the usual channels you expect. There's a community that's underserved that is dying for this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited about it. Derek's excited about it, I'd say.
Are you going to have a character named like Franzi Ray?
Dude. All right.
That might be a little too on the nose, Derek. Oh, no, it's getting a write down. Hell yeah.
You got Franzi Ray, and it's like a reincarnated version of the governing body that's like the anti-villain,
Well, it's funny. There's actual nods to, things that we had in our lingo, like pioneers, shepherds, elders, stuff like that. Cool. And when I was putting this together, my kids have really seen every step of the process. They've seen a lot of the ups and the downs, working through depression, like all of it. Yeah. And it's never been gratuitous, it's just been appropriate to be like, hey, this is the artist way. Like, this is the process. If you guys want to do this, I can show you how to do it, but you're signing up for like real work. This isn't easy.
Yeah.
So it's just been interesting to see how they interject themselves into it. And my son came up to me one day and he was like, Dad, I think the main guy should have 2 henchmen and they should be called the shepherds.
Ooh, cool.
And I was like, that is so fucking cool. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, how do they act? And he basically described like Jules and what's his name from Tarantino, Pulp Fiction, from kind of these 2 guys that just, they clean shit up, and I was like, where did you get this idea? And he was like, well, like, it just is what I remember elders were. They felt like police. Mm-hmm. They used to come to our house and like knock on our door and want to come inside all the time because we were feeding.
They have a special phone. They get like a shepherding call to go do it,
Yeah. So there's like little things that get their own futuristic sci-fi spin, but they operate the same way as they do in the real world. So
it's going to be so cool, man.
It's so cool, man. Yeah, I appreciate you letting us kind of dive into it a little bit. I know there's still some time with it. Yeah, I'd love to have you back whenever it like goes live and gets more along and definitely dissect it a little bit more and just kind of where you are at in life with that moment.
Well, there's something I want to loop back to that we mentioned, like way early in the beginning, is that people will respond to you and help you if you're just being real about your experience and like how you picked yourself back up. Nobody wants to hear a trauma dump. Nobody wants you to bleed all over them. And the people that do are not going to be good collaborators. Yeah. Might come with good intentions, but it's not going to be a good collaboration. So yeah, Mark is it's interesting working with him. He's kind of giving me a shot as well because I'm not part of his industry. Yeah. And the story itself was strong enough because not only am I selling the story Kintsugi, but I'm selling my story, the producer behind it. That's why it's important. And I had to wrestle with this idea of like, am I monetizing my pain? Am I doing exactly what I accused the ex-JDub community of doing and turning it into a brand? And again, to your point, I want to produce stuff that the ex Jehovah's Witness community doesn't have, where it's like, and now this is how I've healed. This is how I've put my life back together.
Well, and I think more and more stuff like this is happening. More XJWs are coming out. You're seeing more documentaries, more, podcasts, more media. People are coming out like yourself who are artists, and this shit is happening. It's very exciting because when we were, in the 90s, whatever, none of this existed.
Mm-mm.
There was no availability for any type of content that was against the way of the Jehovah's Witnesses. And so I'm excited that not only is it a story that's going to come out, but it's also like fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, it is really fucking cool.
Thanks. Yeah. So working all this time in like the industry in games and for Nickelodeon and, other properties that, big brands, I've gotten to handle like their intellectual property, and it's like, you get to see what people like and what works and what doesn't, and why you're drawn to certain things and why you're not, and your taste develops. And, the most successful stuff comes from a place of being authentically cool and also franchisable.
It's why, like, a lot of times bands, like, their first couple albums are the best.
Exactly.
Once they kind of get in the system and they're just kind of touring and they don't have that same like raw, like lived experience that they're pulling for their albums. And so you have to catch them in that window,
Yeah, it's pretty neat to also like have my network grow because somebody who's professional has chosen to work with me based on the story and the franchisability, and be like, oh, these characters, like, I could see an action figure of that guy. This could be cool. To have somebody attach their name and gamble their reputation on you is a validating experience. And I think, as it grows, I have a feeling the next couple months are going to be pretty exciting for me.
It's awesome.
I bet, man.
Get the merchandising rights.
Exactly. But yeah, it just feels like everything's kind of coming together. And that is why I shared the book with you. And I'm so thankful that you've even allowed me to talk about it the way that I have. Is like, I'm serious about this stuff. Like, this isn't just dreams now for the sake of like, oh, I can think for myself. No, it's like, let's make something, let's build something really, really good and cool. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
I love it, man. Yeah, I'm super, super thankful that we connected. I know Trent asked earlier how we connected online.
Oh yeah, Scott, right?
Yeah, I think
Instagram.
There was like, friends of friends, and yeah, I think I probably asked to be your friend, and you allowed me to be your friend. You allowed me to brace you with your presence.
Like, oh, great, another cult guy.
Oh, one of these.
One of these guys.
But no, then you reached out, and and it led to this, and just the discovery of you and what you're doing, and I'm really grateful for it. I think it's just going to be incredible, and I look forward to kind of watching this take off, and for everyone, read the book and just follow this man, because I think it'll be great.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the things you're doing, man. Like, it's great to have some like strong artistic representation in the XJW community, but also just separately as a person, what you're doing is really cool,
Yeah, thank you. I feel the same way about you guys. Yeah, it goes both ways.
Thanks. Yeah, we could probably do better at advertising and being more front facing, but I guess my mindset is like really, again, trying to have the balance with it. It's not about my ego and trying to be an influencer. I'm not trying to get out there and just like get all the likes. I think you see with the Instagram, it's not reel after reel of me talking. It's like, it's really just, thoughtful things to try to, keep people lined correctly with their path and their goal. And then the podcast is just sharing these authentic conversations. So,
well, if I could add something to that, like, I had to make peace with being on camera or stepping up to somebody and saying, hey, look at this script, or check out this pitch deck, look at my comic, read my book. Those are things that have been so difficult for me in a professional setting to like get out of my own way with.
Yeah.
And I can say, talking about your guys' podcast and what you're doing, like, how long have you been doing it? How recent is this? I feel bad for asking, but I feel like I should know. A year, okay.
Yeah, under a year.
8 or 9 months.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, there's consistency. Obviously, you guys both care about this. And I don't think there's anything wrong if putting yourself out there a little more gets you some more attention, because that's like, this show is what I really could have benefited from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't
love to hear that.
I didn't find any show like this. The guy that I did like for a while is Alt-Worldly. Jake, I think is his name. I like his analytical approach, but he's also gone the way of like accepting donations and all that kind of stuff, and doing the live chats and kind of going the influencer route. And God bless him. Like that's one way. But just I don't know. I didn't find this, so this is cool. I think what you guys are doing is the right path, and keep going. And if you do promote, like, it's only going to help more people. And
yeah, I think that's the balance. We grow into it, and what, like Trent and I, it's like if you go back to episode 1, it's rough, but that's how it goes. You just start, and then you kind of get into your groove of what it is and what it's supposed to be. And, you kind of said it's art, and, there's a process to it, and, it's vulnerability. We're all putting ourselves out here, but yeah, I'm appreciative of those kind words. And, it's something that Trent and I have talked about more. We're finally doing video and putting ourselves out there more. And yeah, I think that's the end goal of just to show awareness. And, we continue to grow, and people are resonating with us. The thing that keeps me going, and Trent going too, is those messages when people go like, I found your podcast and I love it. And, I'm so thankful for it. And, we get those messages here and there, and that really pushes us forward. Cause I echo the same thing. I've said it before, and I wish I had this too.
Do you guys put these recordings out on YouTube as well?
Yeah.
Or is it just private for Patreon subscribers?
The audio recordings are on YouTube.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. It's on all major podcast platforms, and everything we've put up. Nothing's been behind a paywall for like the core conversations.
Yeah.
It's just the only thing that we've done behind a paywall is we've done some live stream. We've done one live stream at this point, and that's just like, I don't want to muddy the channel feed, where like the live streams are fun. It's like we can just be random. And so it's like, if you want us more and be random, be part of the community, previous guests from the podcast can come on the live stream. And so it's like more of a community aspect, and that's behind the paywall. But yeah, just the core conversations are always going to be free. And if I have anything to say about it, I never want ads.
Yeah.
I've listened to other podcasts, and it's like ad. You get a little bit, there's an ad in the middle, ad in the middle. You get me, like, we're talking about, trauma, and it's real quick. I got to read an ad about, real quick, Sean, so, and then you go off on some random thing, and I just never want to do that. But like I said before, I just know the logistics, like, things cost money. It's just like, we've gotten into a society where it's just like, everything's free.
Well,
it's like, no,
no,
it's not. Like,
yeah. Well, something that I missed that I think is kind of coming back is the hand built personal touch.
Paying a human for human work.
Right.
Appreciating it.
I think that's coming back, but also the exploration for that type of content, which is the hunt is what I miss from when we were like kids, going to a record store, not being able to listen to anything first. I mean, it's a total crapshoot if the album's going to be good or not. Like
reading the song titles.
Like going through magazines like NME and Rolling Stone and like all this stuff, just searching for
discovery.
And with everything just served to you and in your face, I mean, I actually like doing a little digging and supporting the people that are doing it. That's the way to survive.
Well, I think that's kind of from what I can tell from Patreon, is Patreon was started by artists.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why I wanted to align with it, where it's like, if you align with Trent and I and the guests that come on, it'll always be free. But if you want to pay and support it, it's an option, and we've never, up until this conversation, we've never had this conversation on pod.
Yeah. That's
yeah. Well, we're hanging out with an artist, so it makes sense.
Yeah. We put it on the tag and say, hey, if you want to support us on Patreon, do so. And that's it. So it's like, so it's not ever something I want to make people feel like, they just want to, I got to lunk out money. But no, you always have it for free, but if you want to help us out, go for it. If not, totally fine.
I think people appreciate the intentional ask, where it's like, if you have an ad, it's like, okay, these guys are trying to make money. They're not asking for it. They're just doing what everybody else does to make it. But
I mean, I do love LaCroix.
That was great.
What was that from? I think it was Pepsi in Wayne's World.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like,
just always make sure to have the label out. Okay. Just
It's like,
you'll get a sponsorship, no problem. But people just like to see what you're building, and that was one thing that helped me out with the art community. That was kind of a padding for me, because I was able to show up with like poorly drawn comics, and people were just like, damn, this guy's doing it.
Yeah.
People just like to see you build.
Yeah.
And they support you.
That's why it's
whatever.
We're just going, man. And I think the really cool thing is, it's each conversation, although similar, every unique individual has their own lived experience and shared story. And it's always fascinating for me to be in the conversation, much less, be someone that's just hearing it back. And it's like, wow, we're all so different, and we have little similar things. And I don't know, like, it goes back to, I love seeing where people are, where they land, knowing that, it's very fluid. And, we're in great moments now in life. We could struggle in the next month or two, a year. That's life. And, we're going to be having those conversations throughout all of it. We've had some really tough conversations on this podcast where people have been very low. We've had, some tough conversations, and then we've had, very light conversations where people are in a good moment, and we're there for all of it.
Yeah, there's been a couple, and I think it's fine that you have the spectrum too, because there was a couple that I started and I was like, oh, this one's not for me.
Yeah.
It would have been
totally fair.
It would have been 3 years ago, but right now I'm all right.
Yeah. It's, there was also an intentionality. We used to be every week. And I said, you know what, let's do every 2 weeks, because, I think people want to follow and they enjoy it. But at the same time, it's like, gosh, I got another intense conversation this weekend to listen to. It's, I got errands I got to do, some chores, and I've had people say like, oh, I was crying, and I could only just imagine them vacuuming and they're crying, so obviously there's a place for that, but just trying to be consistent, but also we'll give you a break.
Yeah. Well, there's a nice, I like that you also have the disclaimer up front where it's like, hey, we're going to talk about some stuff that might be hard to listen to. I think that's a nice move,
I've also, speaking of that, it's funny, we're going behind the scenes on the pod, but I remember listening to one pod where that disclaimer was like 40 seconds long. Every podcast. And I eventually was like, I can't do this anymore just because of the disclaimer.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, it's gotta be quick.
Yep.
Like, I get in, we live in that era. It's like, let's get to it. So very quick disclaimer, these conversations are not for children. Right. and we swear, and we're real, and that's what I want. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah. I think this felt really good. I mean, I honestly haven't had a conversation like this one in a very long time, and I didn't realize how badly I needed it.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't like revisiting some of these things, but at no point in our conversation did it feel like painful. It was almost like, okay, there's enough distance now where, yeah, it sucks, but I can talk about it. It's fine without me getting fired up. So that's really nice. Like, I want to thank both of you guys for this conversation, because the loneliness that I feel sometimes from losing my culture and my history, you know, there's history, there's inside jokes, there's things, there's references. Dude, I landed an absolute flawless reference to King Herod that went like so far over my girlfriend's head, got because it couldn't possibly land, but I had to say it anyway. And I was just like, if only you knew.
Full dad mode, like explaining the joke.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. I've gotten myself in trouble on that one a couple times. But you know, those things are just like, man, I wish I could like talk to somebody about those or joke with somebody about those.
Yeah.
So like my favorite one is when someone says no way, I say Yahweh.
Yahweh, yeah.
Yeah. You're such a
like stupid little thing I do. I can't stop it.
Well, and that is one of the things, you know, as we close out, but you know, it's just like, I know that's part of the community aspect. There are little things like that. Like, if I was listening in, or like, I love this. You know, there's a part of me, it's like, yeah, I know I'm not besties with these people, but like, I get it. I get a little bit of that because I don't get it anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that's kind of enough sometimes for me. Like, if I just drop in on a conversation, I'm like, haha, yeah, those guys get it. It's like, all right, I'm good.
I don't remember who it was. I don't know if you, Trent, but someone had said, like, I don't have any friends. The sentiment was like, I think my oldest friend is like 2 years.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like,
I forget who it was.
It's like there's no long-term friends, and that friendship is different.
Yeah.
You know, a friend you grew up with, like, it hits different.
Yep.
That's why we're so lucky to have each other, buddy. We got out within a year of each other.
I tried so hard to escape this man.
I know.
But he just drew me back in, bud.
Oh, real quick. So obviously one of you left before the other. So does that mean that your friendship took a hit? Like, you couldn't talk to each other, or did either one of you try to like wake the other one up? Or
so
have those conversations?
Trent tells the story a lot. It's Beardgate.
You get to tell it. Yeah,
so
Beardgate.
I don't want to rehash for our podcast listeners that have heard it the same way many times. But he did leave first. He holds it over me that he was more aware, faster than me, smarter.
Yeah, right.
And we did separate for about a year or so. So he had me by about a year or so. And you know, it's really tough because we've been shunned, we're being shunned, but we've also shunned others. And, you know, I think it takes a level of just awareness, humility, understanding to apologize and just say, I'm sorry. And having the awareness to know, like, that wasn't me. That was my programming.
And I have all of that humility and awareness, which is why it was no big deal.
Yeah. He's very humble. One of the most humbles. Yeah. So we talked it out, and it's slow rebuilding. I mean, it took us a little bit of time. Plus he lived in Texas. I'm in Oregon.
I was waiting for him, honestly. Like, I was on XJW Reddit, you know, back at the time, and I was just like, I know one day it'll hit him.
Yeah. I had a friend say that to me too. A guy that I reconnected with like after years. Yeah. And he was like, oh, I always knew that you would get out. It was just like, I've always kind of just been expecting this phone call.
It's just a matter of time. And I do love that phone call. I've had him a few times. I've done it as well to others, like, hey, I'm out. And, you know, you kind of navigate that conversation. And, you know, I'm always grateful for anyone that helped me rebuild and reconstruct and be a part of that process, Trent included. I've had some family help, which I'm super grateful. Yeah, some XJW friends. I think that's the really cool thing about blowing it up is people know you can be a resource and ally later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that.
So because I blew it up,
proud.
yeah, I've had people reach out. And so I think it's great. And I did the same for others who also blew it up. And so, yeah, if you are PMO, physically and mentally out, and just kind of maybe faded or whatever, I totally get it. Everyone's got to do it their way, but I'm grateful for the way I did it, even though it was very challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So how do we close out? Do you have any words of wisdom, any kind of things that you want to close out with for our listeners?
Words of wisdom.
You got a little bit of gray hair. I can see it.
Yeah, I do. Thanks for pointing that out.
No problem. No problem, sir. As someone that has a lot.
Entering this group of
you know, that I think I would have told myself to just be like a little bit easier on myself. And I don't know that everybody has that problem. It probably fluctuates depending on what your experience is, how many people you had in the truth or the religion that you're leaving. I think that probably plays like a pretty big role too. But yeah, I really beat myself up for a long time for like being stupid. I felt so stupid. It's like, how did I not see this? Why did it take me so long? How do I get other people out? Like I would have been less reactive. I would have blown it up, but I would have been a bit more strategic in how I blew it up, because I think I might have been able to plant a seed in my brother for sure. If I didn't, I probably could have shown a little bit more respect for what my parents built. I don't know. It's
more
just
of a tactical withdrawal.
More tactical. I mean, yeah. But that's also like kind of not my style. So there is part of me that feels proud of just doing it the way I did it, because I've always, like, as I said that, I looked over at my wallet and I have a Gibson Flying V that I bought for myself as just kind of like, dude, you're out. Like, that's awesome. And it's just like, yeah, man, I came to rock. Like, yeah. I have to just hit the big, I'm out, and then we're gone. That's how I like to remember it. But honestly, I was like sobbing the entire time.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's really tough. I think those are good words, and I don't know. It's just we all have to do it in our own way, and I'm grateful coming across anyone that wants to come on the pod and talk about their experience. And I don't know, it's hard to put into words, but finding kin, finding people that, that's one of Trent's phrases, but it's just like finding people that we relate to, that we can have these conversations and hear them back. It's it's super healthy for me and nice for me. So I'm glad it's resonating with other people too. And
yeah. Also, like, people are a lot more willing to help and are friendlier and not as scary as the world was painted to be.
For sure.
That's something that I think is beneficial for everyone, no matter what stage they're in, to just be like, hey, it is rough out there and it can be scary, but like, people are usually pretty good.
I've not yet seen Satan roaming around devouring people.
No.
Yeah, it's not the craziness that they painted it out to be. Yes, but at the same time, proceed with caution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Find the right people, because as we started out when we said, they're not all the same. But I'm grateful that you seem like a right dude, man.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. Do you want to put your socials out there? Can anyone
please.
kind of find you online, connect with you? And then I think you also have a website as well.
Yeah, I haven't updated that in a minute, but I will. The book is going to be available. You can go to my website, Sean, SEAN, GregoryMiller.com. You can follow me on Instagram. Like, that's where I post most of my art and do like announcements and just tell people what I've got going on. And that's Sean Gregory Miller. Pretty easy to find. And then as far as like Kintsugi goes, I know that there's I've been surprised actually at how many ex-witnesses there are in the entertainment industry. So who knows like where I'll be at with that by the time this comes out or even in the future. So it's still fun. The book will be available. Yeah. Kintsugi, there will probably be a marketing campaign. If there is, the ex-Jehovah's Witness community will probably be at the heart of that, because that's who this is for. So
when time for marketing campaign, you just give us a shout and we'll support you, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I mean, you two have been so generous with the platform and your time.
Yeah, thank you so much as well. Yeah, with that said, thank you, listeners, for spending time with us. We really value and appreciate you. Thank you, Trent, for your time. And of course, Sean, thank you so much. For all the listeners, we'll talk with you soon.
Thank you for joining us on this journey in this era. If you found today's episode valuable, please share it with someone who might need it. Check the podcast description for our socials and other information.
Please consider supporting us at Patreon at patreon.com/culturepod. If you'd like to tell your story, please contact us at cult.chur.pod@gmail.com. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and stay free.